And welcome to Grand River Raceway. It is Industry Day 2023. A look outside at the beautiful Grandway, one of the new portions of the grandstand that were built here last season as part of a small expansion to the racing footprint. One of the most scenic and picturesque half-mile racetracks you will see anywhere in North America. Overcast conditions today, but so far so good. The rain is holding off. Just a light breeze here this afternoon. Right now, picture perfect for harness racing in Elora, Ontario. And what a day we have in store for you today. Hi again, everybody. Greg Blanchard back alongside Mark McKelvey. It's been a while, Mark, since we've been on the show here. We've both been busy. Saw you this past weekend at the Meadowlands. Just a busy time overall in the sport of harness racing.
It certainly is. Midsummer, as we always know, the stakes are going full tilt, and there's a lot of traveling that needs to be done, not just obviously by us here, as we have the pleasure and the opportunity to go to some of the biggest events, but the participants as well. Some of the drivers competing here today, they were down at the Meadowlands competing on the weekend, representing Ontario, representing Canada. So a busy time all around, but of course we know where we're going to be on the holiday Monday in August every single year, and that's right here for the Battle of Waterloo and the Battle of the Bells.
Yeah, really nowhere else you would rather be than today on this day. So much history that has been developed here at Grand River Raceway. It started back at Elmira Raceway before the racetrack relocated here back in 2002. Operated by the Grand River Agricultural Society. Grand River, again, set in the small town of Elora, a population of about 8,000 when you take in this entire area, and really an historic part of the province as well, home to a couple of beautiful tourist destinations, the Elora Mill and the Elora Gorge.
There's lots to see here when you're making that drive through Elora, coming to the racetrack. So much great architecture. A beautiful spot here. Of course, we don't have the sun shining like you said, but knock on wood, we're staying dry, and everybody's having a really nice afternoon. Very pleasant out here today.
For sure. So we're set up here in the infield. The other member of a broadcast team will join us now from the paddock. We say hello this afternoon to Tony Elliott.
Yeah, it's a great day, guys, and obviously it's one of my favorite days, being a big half-mile guy. So I'm certainly excited. I know you guys are excited as well, but we have a fantastic lineup here this afternoon. We kick things off with a $100,000 gold event for 3-year-old filly Pacers, where we get to see last year's Battle of the Bells champion. Big plans, try to return to her winning ways, being 0-for-9 in the season, but she gets back to where she does her best work. And then over to race number 8, we have a preferred truck going for $15,000, a great lineup in there. And then over to race number 9, we have Desperate Man, former Horse of the Year and Pepsi North American Cup champion, squaring off against Ideal Perception, who is arguably one of the fastest half-mile horses in Canada. So it'll be a great matchup in race number 9 for another preferred in the form of the Pace, going for $15,000 as well. And then we go over to our marquee events, Battle of the Bells in race number 10. And then obviously race 11 is the big event, the Battle of Waterloo, where someone's going to take home over $100,000 with the purse just over $200,000. And there's some stars to be made today, and this is certainly a great day, and I'm certainly excited to be a part of it.
An amazing 5-pack coming up for you this afternoon. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And don't forget, if you're playing along today, through your favorite wagering account, perhaps through HPI Bet, or for those on track today that are watching us on their mobile device, you've got the $10,000 guaranteed pool pick 5. And what a sequence it is, capped off, of course, by the Battle of the Bells and the Battle of Waterloo. And we're going to kick things off today with race 7. It is an Ontario Sire Stakes Gold Division. Good-looking field of 7. The divisional leader in the OSS, One Last Wish, from post 5, but a bit of a question mark, considering the mare made a miscue last time at Mohawk Park.
Yeah, and that's going to be something to keep an eye on here today, especially when you're going from the big track down to the half-mile oval, the tight turns. You've got to go around those turns 4 different times. So we will see how she's able to handle it. Interesting enough, she is a free-legged pacer as well, so she'll catch your eye certainly when she gets out onto the track and when she's in full flight for driver Paul McDonnell. But a nice group to go forward here. You mentioned it, the fact that One Last Wish has the most points coming into today, tied with Lions Better Day. That one could not get the job done back in our first division. Could big plans, as Tony alluded to, finally break through for her first win of the season? Bob McIntosh took that first split earlier this afternoon, so they've got some good mojo going heading into our first race of today's coverage.
Yeah, and McIntosh, as you mentioned already, having a good day. Cheesy Smile, who we saw in the standings there, she made a rare miscue at the start in that opening division today. So it leaves you wondering what to expect today from One Last Wish. We'll get a look at her in a moment, but there's James McDonald. He'll be on board post 1 starter Getting Euchre, a daughter of All Bets Off, trained by Brent Ballure, 3 for 11 this year.
I'm a Doll is the 2. The nation's leading driver when it comes to wins. Tyler Borth does the driving for trainer John Pentland, 4 for 11 on the season.
And last year's Battle of the Bells champion, Big Plans, another daughter of All Bets Off. She went 4 for 11 last year, made just over $250,000. 0 for 9 though this season, but showing some signs recently.
Illusion Sealster's number 4, Sylvan Filion, driving for trainer Gabby Sasso. Here's one that actually has her life's best at a qualifier, 152-3.
There is 5, one last wish. Again, the divisional leader here in the OSS standings, daughter of Better's Delight. Ken Susie trains Paul McDonnell on board.
Sweetest Belle is the 6. You saw her there for a second. Doug McNair driving for trainer Susie Kerwood, one that moves up from the grassroots to try the gold.
And 7, Better's Punch will complete the field. Kyle Fellows trains, Jonathan Drury doing the driving. This one 2 for 8 this year. 5 on the board finishes and sits 4th currently in the OSS standings. So a good result today is going to move that one further up the ranks. It is a very competitive division this year, the 3-year-old filly division. Very interesting, Mark, to see the 0 for 9 Big Plans slightly favored at 2-1. Maybe the public feeling that a return to familiar surroundings for her might be just what the doctor ordered.
I could see that for sure. And you look through this group, very competitive. This group all season long, to your point, maybe not the deepest when it comes to superstars, but there's a lot of good pacing fillies that could all step up and get the job done. I mean, One Last Wish was a gold winner 2 starts back. She got the job done at odds of 5-1. She's currently sitting on the board as that co-choice at 2-1 as well. So I think it just speaks volumes, the fact that she's coming in. Well, I know she has that miscue that's probably putting a few question marks beside her, but she's one that's raced really well. And you see right there, I'm looking on her right there, not free-legged. We've got the hobbles on her here today.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was I assume it would have to have been announced earlier here today. We weren't here right off the top for the program, so we obviously did not catch that, and that's a big change, right? It's something to consider here with the filly, and assuming that the break in stride last time maybe had something to do with that in the return to the half miler today. But it's always a question mark whether you're going from hobbles to not or the other way around.
It certainly is, and there might have been a time in our sport, and I know on the trot there was a time you certainly had to always make sure you got a qualifier in when you were making those kind of changes. Not the case, I don't think, anymore. Not with the Pacers, obviously, here today, as One Last Wish will add them, and I think she's fun to watch. She's got that beautiful looking stride. It probably stands out more because she has been racing free-legged, but obviously the connection's feeling that they've got to make that adjustment, and I do wonder if coming right to the half off that miscue, they just felt more comfortable throwing them on.
There's James, as mentioned, with Getting Euchre. James, one of those guys that was at the Big M this past weekend, and had a little bit of luck. Didn't go that well for him in the Hambo final, but a good third in the Oaks with Righteous Resolve. That filly raced fantastic. And here he is. He's got post 1. He's 11-1, and horse players probably enjoy these types of situations because if you're a big fan of James, you're likely going to back him in the spot, and if he can, work some of his magic like he's been doing all season long, you get well rewarded.
You certainly do. I think it was last week during the eliminations card he came in, won the first race of the night. Driving a horse that probably should have been bet down. It was a significant driver change whenever you go to the top driver in the nation, yet the public let that one slip away. And here from the rail, I mean, we know this group. This is a deep group when it comes to the driving colony as well, so it's probably not going to sway the odds too much, the fact that James is driving this one. But the rail starting spot, you love having that experience on the half. We saw Getting Euchre in the Kin Pace during our coverage back on July 9th, was the runner-up, a well-beaten 4th to I'm a Doll, who is number 2 in this contest and is taking some significant action.
Speaking of James, we have that fantastic So Much More collector card that we've been giving away this season. We've got a few autographed copies of that. So we're going to give another one out today. Everybody tuning in, a big hello to all of our viewers who are online once again and joining us today. Make sure you say hi, leave us a question or a comment, and let us know where you're tuning in from. We love having everybody on board and interacting with us throughout the afternoon. So be sure to do so on our various platforms wherever you are tuning in today for your chance to win one of those fantastic autographed collector cards. So much more. She'll be leading candidate again for Pacing Mare of the Year. She might have some competition this year, though. How about Silver Label of late?
I'd have to say right now, if I was submitting my vote, I think Silver Label's probably getting the top billing at the moment. I mean, what So Much More has done is just awesome. She's so much fun to watch. One of my favorite horses of recent memory. But Silver Label, her success at that Grand Circuit level is certainly not going unnoticed.
All right, starting gate rolling. The first of our 5-pack here on Industry Day 2023. OSS Gold Division, 3-year-old filly Pacers, and Gary Guy with the call.
Filly race.
Josh finished it. She needs a little post position help. He tried to leave. He was first. And then should have stayed where he was. Like if he underdrove her, maybe she would.
And Better's Punch is now hung out. Getting Euchred is on the inside and moves up to fill that spot. Issuing the parking ticket to Jonathan Drury and Better's Punch. Now Big Plan steps to the outside. And Illusion Seals to the outside is trailing the field. It is One Last Wish. And Paul McDonnell with the lead as they race their way on towards us. On the inside, Swedish Bell to the outside. Better's Punch is going an overland trip as they work their way past the half of 56 and rolling to the 5/8. On the inside, fourth is I'm a Doll. And Big Plans is well situated second over. Then getting Euchred and Illusion Sealster. It is One Last Wish. And now there goes Big Plans. And Trevor Henry has a plan 3 wide, trying to track down One Last Wish. One Last Wish looks game, and Big Plans is flattened out now. Swedish Bell is racing second. Better's Punch on the inside. I'm a Doll. And then Illusion Sealster. Big Plans is dropped back out of it and getting Euchred. They race by 3/4, 124 and 3. And One Last Wish as they turn for home is pouring it on and leads right now by about 3 or 4 lengths as they turn on down the lane. Then Swedish Bell and Illusion Sealster. It is One Last Wish as they come to the finish. Who's going to win this one? One Last Wish at 153 and 1. I'm a Doll was second, close for third. 153 and 1. One Last Wish, and Randy, you were right.
One Last Wish, the divisional leader, showing wide today, notching her 4th win of the campaign. She had been racing free-legged all season long, puts the hobbles on today, and boy, did she handle the half-mile oval beautifully. Really no one able to threaten her at all. 53 and 1, that's a big mile here on the half-mile oval.
It certainly is. To put it in perspective, that's just 2/5 off the track record of 152 and 4, which is co-held by Neon Moon and Voles Delight. The first one setting that Neon Moon in 2018, Voles Delight back in 2021, and here today a 53 and 1 mile on not necessarily the warmest of industry days. I mean, we're still in the low 20s, and it is dry, but there's a bit of a breeze, and that was a real nice mile and a real good bounce back for One Last Wish. Paul McDonnell last Monday night had the driving hat trick at Woodbine Mohawk Park. The veteran, with many of the regulars away, got a lot of drives, as you'd expect. The Hall of Famer called upon and took full advantage as he cashed in for a 3-bagger. And here this afternoon gets another gold victory here for Ken Susi, as One Last Wish is now a 2-time gold winner on the campaign. And that's going to continue to collect those valuable points as we head towards the super final.
There's a good look at her making her way back into the winner's enclosure. She gets it done handily today. I'm a Doll, best of the rest. Good effort from that one in her first try at the gold level. She's also a 4-time winner this season. And in the show photo, Sweetest Bell at 17 to 1 over Illusion Sealster. So a 5, 2, 6, and 4 top 4 finish order here. This one, One Last Wish, a daughter of Better's Delight, mated with Arts Diva. And the connections, the ownership group, the legs, and Ken Susi, the trainer, familiar certainly with this family. Ken campaigned Arts Diva. So the mating has produced exactly what they would have been hoping for. Perhaps it has even exceeded it to this point in time. With that victory today, well over $200,000 now in career earnings, and she looks like the type that's just going to continue to add to that bankroll.
That's for sure. And again, I was talking about the fact that in the last gold event, there was just one division, and it was a big group that competed, but they got to go for nearly $200,000. If that's the one you're going to win, that was the one you wanted to win. But here today, she comes right back and doubles up at the gold level. And to your point, now $225K plus earned, and still has a lot of money left on the table to potentially pick up in the Sire Stakes this season, but also one, as we were talking about those older pacing mares, you wouldn't be shocked to just see her kind of butting heads at that top level going forward for the next several years.
There's Karen Allen from the Ontario Sire Stakes making the blanket presentation to the very happy Winners Connections here. And we'll get some winning words in a moment, I think, from this one coming up. But, yeah, we're going to kick off our late pick 5 sequence with a winning favorite as expected. But 6-5, I think there was just enough doubt in people's minds, Mark, that they didn't make her one of those prohibitive 1-9 or 2-5 shots. So 6-5 in hindsight, when you see how dominant she was a pretty attractive price.
I think so, and I think you also saw those odds come down a little bit. What she took some money right as they were about to go, as she was sitting up a little higher than we would have anticipated, and some others were taking some action. Tough trip for big plans. Trevor Henry tipped her 3 wide going to 3/4, and you could hear it in the voice of Gary Guy. It looked like it was going to be a prominent move, as it looked like she was getting into full gear, and she just flattened out immediately. So disappointing to see there. Tough one for Team McIntosh, as Tony Elliott mentioned it a little bit earlier, the idea that big plans had her biggest win last year here in the Battle of the Bells, was hoping to come back and find that form. Not today, though, and it's back to the drawing board.
And boy, are we blessed with top pacing talent, pacing and trotting talent for that fact, in the Ontario Sire Stakes program. Look at graduates of this very division. We just talked about Silver Label. She has gone on and has shown in recent weeks that she is among the best pacing mares in the sport, period. And, she put an exclamation point on that this past Saturday in winning for the second time there in just a 4-week period. And here's another one that has the look to me when she really does put it all together. She's pretty close to that now, I would think. And with any further improvement, can likely go with the best fillies on the continent.
I would say so, no doubt about it. And I'm sure Paul McDonnell's really enjoying teaming up with this filly once again this season. They're having a nice run.
All right, here he is now with Robert.
Has really progressed nicely, right, throughout the course of her career and this season. Seems to really enjoy her work when she gets to the front.
Yeah, she certainly does. In the half-mile track, it's where you have to be. But, she started racing last year, and she just seemed to get progressively better as the year went on, and she's continued it right through to this year.
Yeah, and a day like today, obviously now back on a half, it kind of like to put the pacing hobbles back on her. I mean, no concern there because she did it last year like that.
She did so, and the hobbles don't, she can go either way. So we've just thought, just to be safe today, the half 4 turns, and she just did her thing again.
For a lot of people, right, their fondest memories of the Battle of Waterloo is going to come with some beach somewhere, right? And days like today, I guess, being here, you're not in the big race today. You did win a big one on the undercard, but it's got to bring back all those feelings for you.
It does, and it doesn't seem that long ago. It just seems like it was yesterday for me, but he was just one great horse, and he started his career here, and it launched him onto bigger and better things in the future.
Absolutely, and as that race usually does, right? So congratulations, Paul. We're going to bring in Ken Soucy.
Yeah.
All right.
Here in 1 sec.
Thanks, Paul. Here comes Ken Soucy. We're going to grab him for a quick word as well. One last wish, Ken. This is a filly. I was just talking to Paul about this, right? A horse that really has seemed to progress so nicely at the age of 3. Seems to really love her work right now.
Yes, the families all come this way. They start slow, and her mother didn't reach her stride till she was a 4-year-old, when 149. This one's just blessed with just a bit better gait. And I only put the hobbles back on just because of the half mile. When I won here last year with her in 56, I put the hobbles on also. It's just half mile track, that's all. But she's a no-brainer. She's a godsend.
Yeah, and I just heard you kind of speaking about how she's so smart as well. I mean, earlier on when you were on the track warming up, a lot of people were around. Didn't seem fazed by it at all.
She saw them before I did.
Wow.
She's super smart, and she's just a no-brainer. She's done absolutely nothing wrong from the day I broke her. and she's unbelievable. No, she handles different shoeing, different cobbles. It doesn't matter. She's just well blessed to have her. That's all.
All right. Well, congrats on another.
And Paul, no, I can't say enough about Paul. Paul and I have been together for. Oh, he drove the mother, and he's looked after her. Last year's a 2-year-old to get us, to step it up, because he knew the family, because he drove the mother and all the babies, the siblings before. So, yeah, he said just be patient, and he looks after that.
Well, she's come a long way now, right? Couple of OSS Gold wins this season, and continued success with her in the future.
Well, thank you very much, guys. Lovely track here. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. One last wish, winner of the second division of the OSS Gold for Pacing Fillies.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, awesome to see a couple of the good guys in the sport. They go back a long way. Congratulations to Ken and Paul. Going to get done here, and we are off in racing, as they say, on Industry Day. Let's take our first commercial break, and we'll be back with more in a moment.
The racing is fast and exciting at the picturesque Woodbine and Woodbine Mohawk Park racetracks in Ontario, Canada. Woodbine Standardbred, home of the Pepsi North America Cup, a summer classic.
Pebble Beach in Iran.
And Woodbine Thoroughbred, home of the historic King's Plate.
But the mighty filly has devastated them.
Full fields, exotic wagers, iconic events. Play Woodbine Thoroughbred and Woodbine Standardbred today at your favorite wagering location.
As the industry's leading sales agency, Preferred Equine's new online sales portal, Preferred Equine Online, offers the best online service available. Developed by our experienced sales team, the powerful new platform with cutting-edge technology makes buying and selling easy from the comfort of your home or office over any device. Our experienced sales team offers full customer service for buyers and sellers as it relates to the collection, distribution, and transfer of the horses offered. Sellers can enter a horse as easily as 123 with a searchable database while allowing comments, photos, and other documents. Buyers can view live pedigrees, past performances, and race videos. To view the sales schedule, create your account, or learn more, visit www.preferredequineonline.com or call our sales team at 914-773-7777.
And control, fun of the game on the inside third. Some Beach Somewhere still has 2.5 lengths to make up and has rolled out there 3 wide. On the inside, Samurai Sealter is fifth. And Keystone Horatio is marching 3 wide on the final turn. Sturgis Hanover, Dr. J. Holiday to the inside. And Ratings Hanover trailing 3/4, 125 and 2. Believe in Bruiser leads to the top of the stretch, but here comes Some Beach Somewhere, and Paul McDonnell, Some Beach Somewhere at the top of the stretch, has come on to take the lead, and Some Beach Somewhere now is cruising down the stretch drive. The 10th Battle of Waterloo final goes to Some Beach Somewhere and Paul McDonnell. Fun of the Game was second, Believe in Bruiser was third, Samurai Sealter was fourth. 155 flat.
We saw Paul McDonnell kick off our coverage today, winning with One Last Wish, and a look back there to 2008, where it all began for the great Some Beach Somewhere, right here in the Battle of Waterloo. That was just his second lifetime start. He had set a Canadian record the week prior, Mark, in his career debut, 54-2, and we all know what he went on to do after that.
We certainly do right there, and you see the fact at the bottom how much money he did earn, but it's the lasting legacy. You know, unfortunately, we lost Some Beach Somewhere several years ago, but his legacy does live on through his sons and daughters, and he is going to be prominent in the breeding game for many years to come with those mares as well. What a career it was. 15 years. Can you believe it went by that quick?
Amazing. It really is. And here we are again. This race, it just adds to its history each and every year. It's one of the events you circle on your racing calendar here in Ontario. A lot going on here today on track. I just want to quickly touch on it. Of course, we've got some great food trucks across the way. We've got the new patio rocking here. The sun is peeking out, which is fantastic. What have we got? A petting zoo. We've got inflatable axe throwing. I'd like to give that maybe we'll have a go at that before we leave.
I'm glad it's inflatable. I can deal with that.
Absolutely. And we want to thank COSA, of course, for providing this coverage today. They're also giving 11 $100 keg cards to each winning caretaker today as well. That's certainly a nice gesture. And, you know, what more would you want after a tough day of racing your horses than a little $100 keg card?
Can't
about
beat
that?
That'd be nice. Get a little nice meal into you, a nice steak. Can't go wrong with that. Very generous of COSA. I think you missed one thing that was happening today here. I missed the meet and greet with Greg Blanchard. How'd that go earlier? I'm sure there was a long line, right?
Yeah, it was. Well, it was short and sweet. Put it that way, for sure. We have the Bill Galvin Racing Alliance here today as well. Now, on the way in, I caught this in action. This is a new thing. It's like a 3D simulator. It's a set of goggles. I think Cujo Entertainment, teamed up with them with this technology to provide the video, and it puts you right in the race bike and provides you with the feeling of being in a live horse race. And I can tell you, caught some of the folks doing it. It looked like a blast. I didn't have time to try it. I'm definitely going to try it, though. If not today, somewhere down the road. They'll be making stops at different tracks across the province. And hats off to that group doing a wonderful job promoting racing.
Really, really nice. Great initiatives. And there's another person who gave a lot to the sport, and his memory lives on, does Bill Galvin, in the form of the Racing Alliance.
And speaking of that, we do want to send our condolences to the family of John Watkins. Now, everybody, certainly in the racing community here, knows him. You know of the wonderful work he did over his career. Just a wonderful guy, obviously, such a big asset to the industry, and a huge loss.
It is a big loss. Passed away yesterday due to complications from pneumonia, and I just have to say that's going to really hit home here pretty soon. I'd see John at Mohawk and Woodbine a lot. He'd always stop by my office at Woodbine to chat when he'd come in for the day, get his media vest, and I will miss those conversations. He was just salt of the earth human being, so a terrible loss. Sending our condolences to his family and his friends, and we'll miss seeing him at the track.
Okay, let's meet the field for our upcoming 8th race of the afternoon. We're going to shift gears completely here. We're on the trot, and it's a good one, a Preferred 2 event. Excellent field of 9 here at Grand River. They go 8 across and 1 from the trailing tier. And there's your current favorite at 9-5. His name is the Fixer. 2-back a winner at Georgian Downs, 54-1 over the 5/8 mile oval. Last time here, finished 3rd, but didn't really get away from the gate well. We'll try and turn that around this afternoon.
This is a really good group of trotters, the ones that you do see competing at this level on the half-mile ovals across Ontario quite often, but you got a few that have been trying things out at Woodbine Mohawk Park, including number 7 Seacan, who made his last start there over the big oval, comes back to Grand River here today where he was a winner 2-back at this Preferred 2 level. But this is a nice group. You know, one horse that stands out for me is the 3 Willie or Won't He. I'm pretty sure now for several industry days this guy's been racing at this preferred level. This won't be his first industry day. You'd have to go back and look. I feel like we've talked about him many times now. 10 years old, a career winner of over $465,000. A fun horse to watch as just continues to go out there year in and year out and can still race at this level.
And there's a look at the number 8, Serenity Cruise, Sam Fillion for Don Lindsay. Sam, a guy we're seeing more and more of around this part of the province. One of those young up-and-coming reinsmen that I think you're going to hear more and more from. And really, when you look at this race and look at the drivers here, I think it is indicative of the young talent that we have here in the province of Ontario. You know, a lot of guys that are just kind of working their way up. Some of them that are well established, but they're all still relatively young guys. Tyler Borth, Scott Young, Brett McDonald, Daryl Thiessen coming back after a tough injury. Austin Sorey, one of the up-and-comers, certainly in Canada as well. So I think we're pretty lucky here in the province. We're very deep on the driver's side.
And I think where you notice it in a race like this is the fact that the guys that are sitting in the paddock not competing in this race speaks volumes that the trainers are more than content to stick with their regular drivers for the most part in this spot. When you have the likes of Bob McClure, James McDonald, Sylvain Fillion, they're all inside that paddock. Jody Jamieson. But they stick with their guys because their guys, they know what they're doing out here. And you're right, we do have a pretty deep driving colony in the province, and that's great to see. Of course, the favoritism, though, is sitting on a man who needs no introduction, that being Doug McNair. And coming up very soon, he's going to be heading off to the World Driving Championship to represent Canada. He had his colors presented to him a few weeks back at Woodbine Mohawk Park and checking in with the family right now as he's going on by. But I'm excited for Doug to have that opportunity once again, another crack at it, a chance to try and claim that title, to join the likes of Sylvain Filion, Jody Jamieson, and James McDonald as Canadians that went to win the World Driving Championship. And you know Doug's not going there just to have a good time. I'm sure he'll enjoy the trip through Europe, Belgium. I'm not even sure where they're all stopping. It's going to be a whirlwind.
Yeah.
But that said, I think having that past experience of competing it before, he knows what to expect, and we know how he drives. He can be very aggressive. I'm sure he'll be putting them in play and also giving up, some valuable time midsummer to go as well. I know for some that might have been concerning with stake season. I think in his spot, though, that's no big deal, and he'll do very well over there.
You're right. Competitive guy. He's going to want to enjoy the experience, take it all in, but he's going to want to go back there and win, and especially representing his country. Very similar to what we saw in the Hamiltonian. I think this year he'll be happy that he had the experience going down there and getting the drive in the Hambo itself. Next time he goes, he'll be going expecting or certainly focused on trying to win it. Not that he wasn't this year, but he'll take something away from that, and that's why those guys are so good. They're so competitive. I want to quickly say hello to some of our viewers tuning in today. We've got J.D. Varnell joining us as always. Great to have you on board. Lori McLean from Petroli is tuning in. Friend Wade McCoy online here as well. And let's check over on the YouTube feed. Saw Brett Kramer gave us his exactor play in the last race.
Did he hit it?
Don't know how he did. Let's see here.
We had a 5-2.
5-2, yeah, I think he had it. I think he was
go.
going to box up a couple of horses. So good for you, Brett. And Quinton is online there as well, our good friend Quinton. So, yeah, let us know where you're tuning in from today. Again, your chance to win that So Much More card. If you got a comment or a question you want to pass along, we'd love to hear from you as always. And there's a look at the different ways you can follow us online at COSA-TV. Good betting board here. The Fixer holds as a lukewarm favorite, just inside Treasured T. This is one that I think will be a factor in here. This is a hard-hitting older mare. Gives you her best every time, and her early speed's a big weapon. Post one, that's such an advantage here at Grand River.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I think the horse that I like here, the 7 Can, it's a tough post for Scott Young. I think this one, if it draws a little more inside, is probably your favorite. That said, some of that speed, I think, will develop early in this race, and if you're Scott Young, maybe you can bide your time. Don't need to be too aggressive out of there. Just make sure you get away well and could pick up the pieces. So I'll go with the 7 Can at that price of 9-2.
Nice shot from our drone, getting a look at some of the fans enjoying the action today over in the backstretch here from beautiful Grand River Raceway. Preferred 2 Trotters are next.
Cruz in the second tier, Sicario. It's a field of 9. It's race number 8. They're approaching the top of the stretch. Here they come. Giddy up. Field for race number 8 is at the start of the rough. Sicario spots the field about a half dozen lengths, and Arrakis is going to drive out with Treasure T on the inside. Then the Fixer and Willie or Won't He, and Seacan to the outside is racing 5th as they work around the turn. Then it is back to Arcanum, and for the back is Esquire. Serenity Cruise and Sicario's trailing the field. Arrakis is wanting to come on and clear to the front. Arrakis at 9-2 makes the lead, and racing second, Treasure T. Then the Fixer third, Willie or Won't He is fourth, and Seacam gets away, racing mid-pack 5th. And then it is Arcanum, Esquire, Serenity Cruise, and Sicario. 28 seconds, the opening quarter. Arrakis has the lead. Treasured Team is getting a treasured pocket trip. The Fixer is positioned 3rd as they come off the turn. Then Willie or Won't He, Seacan already starts to angle out as they race off the turn. And popping out from 3rd as they race on towards us now. That is the Fixer who's fixing to challenge Arrakis. Treasure T on the inside is racing 3rd. Then it is Willie or Won't He. Seacan follows Willie or Won't He on the outside. Scooting up the pylons is Esquire. And then it is back to Arcanum. And racing on the pylon, Serenity Cruise, and then Sicario. It is Arrakis, the Fixer to the outside, and the Fixer is coming on against Arrakis. Then third, Treasure T. Now Seacan has rolled around. Willie or Won't He was flattened out, and Seacan is fourth, but Seacan has gone rough. And on the inside, Esquire. Esquire is racing for 3/4, 127-1. The Fixer is trying to get the better of Arrakis. They are slugging it out. Treasure T is racing 3rd. Esquire is 4th, and then Seacan has recovered, but but has a ton of work to do, and then Serenity Cruise, and they turn for home. And it is Arrakis and the Fixer. On down the stretch drive they come. Arrakis on the inside. The Fixer grinding, but Arrakis is able to fend off the Fixer. And then Treasure T and Esquire, mile of 1:57.1. Arrakis racks up another win.
Arrakis taking no prisoners this afternoon, all the way on the front end, 157 and 1/5. Win number 8 this year and 47th lifetime. He's over $600,000 in earnings. The 11-year-old, to say he has had a productive career, certainly an understatement.
Yeah, you're right about that. I was going on about Willie or Won't He, one of the veterans in this group, and what he's accomplished over his career. But Arrakis, those numbers even higher. And to your point, over 600,000 made, now the age of 11, and goes all the way. Austin Sorey trying this strategy. He's tried it before in this spot here at Grand River, and it didn't pan out. Ended up fading to finish 4th. But in this case here this afternoon, and really had... the Fixer came with a big battle there at the 3/4 pole, dug in gamely, and a real nice effort to win.
So from what we've seen in watching the earlier races today, the first couple on our show, it looks like you're going to have to be fairly forwardly spotted today. Going to be tough to come from way out of it, I think, this afternoon, no matter what the fractions or how the race sets up. But we'll see. Great look at Arrakis, 11-year-old, but boy, he looks fantastic. He's a very athletic-looking individual. The years are up. He just looks happy to be out there, and the results are evident. I think he likes what he does out there.
I get that feeling. Sometimes you see that with those old classy horses that on big days, it's almost like they know there's a little added spotlight on them today, and they seem to step up and come through.
A 9-2 winner, so a generous price for Arrakis and driver Austin Sorey here. The Fixer second, the stablemate to Arrakis, Treasure T. She finishes 3rd. And Esquire, another long shot, up for 4th for driver Tyler Borth. So that will be your superfecta combination here, the 5, 2, 1, and 6. Hello to a couple of our regular viewers from New Brunswick tuning in today. Hi to Diane Crossman from St. John and Denise Bond from nearby Moncton, New Brunswick as well. Our buddy Ozzie McKay likely watching in from Moncton today. If he is, we'll say hi to him. And we'll look forward to seeing him in a couple of weeks. We usually cross paths with him this time of year in our travels from track to track.
He's well-traveled.
He's very fortunate that he gets to travel around a little bit.
Just a little bit, right?
Yeah, just a bit. Just gets a day here and there.
I'm never surprised when I look out on the apron at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Oh, there's Oz. Never know when you'll see him.
Exactly. All right, congratulations, Francis Gilmet, doing a real nice job with Arrakis. Another solid campaign, 8 for 24, and we're just over the halfway point of the season, so it's going to be another solid campaign for him. Let's take another commercial break, and we'll have prices and look ahead to race number 9 in a moment.
By now, you know the name COSA-TV, an industry leader producing unique, high-quality digital content promoting harness racing in Ontario. Features, virtual programming, live events, and more. COSA-TV has it covered. Follow our social media channels and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page to view the latest content. And if you're looking to bet your favorite Ontario track, check out hpibet.com. COSA-TV, taking Ontario racing global.
Enjoy the thrill of the race anywhere, anytime with hpibet.com. Join for free and use your smartphone, tablet, or PC to watch and wager when you can't be at the track. Stream live racing from over 450 tracks. Bet with ease from anywhere. It's safe and secure. Get rewards, race alerts, tips, and more. For a limited time, get $100 when you become a member. Plus, 1 month free live race streaming, and your first bet is on us. Go to hpibet.com to join for free today.
Win one soon in Supersonic Jet. Bob Benenjohn's got the lead. Go, Daddy, go. And John Campbell bearing down from second, just about a half length from the front. And on the inside third, is sporting the look as they are about to turn for home in the Battle of Waterloo. 3/4, 125-3. Bob, Ben, and John is clinging to a tenuous lead. Go Daddy Go is charging for John Campbell as they come on down the lane. And Sportskeeper to the outside, up the inside now is sporting the look as they come to the finish. On the outside, Go Daddy Go! Go Daddy Go! It's a Hall of Fame Battle of Waterloo. Then on the inside, sporting the look in third was Bob, Ben, and John. 1:55 flat. Go Daddy Go!
Who could forget the dazzling-looking Chestnut Go Daddy Go and his victory in the Battle of Waterloo? The lone victory for trainer Bob McIntosh in this event. Of course, he won the Battle of the Bells last year with big plans. And Bob certainly has had an incredible record over the course of his career. When you look back, he has handled some of the who's who in the sport of racing. That's why he is a Hall of Famer, both here in Canada and south of the border.
Every single year it feels like he's got those top-notch performers, not just in the OSS, but they go on to have a real good run in the Grand Circuit. So many homebreds for them as well. Quite the operation. A lot of legacy mares there too. I just looked through some of those families, those LA families. I mean, the horses that he has conditioned and he has raised and had so much success with, you go on and on. And I think that was a pretty special day back in 2014. Him and his good friend John Campbell teaming up to win that Battle of Waterloo. And I'd have to tell you there, Greg, I think I did the post-race interview that afternoon, and that was pretty cool. I mean, it didn't get much better than two Hall of Famers right there. And for John Campbell, late in his career, to add a race like that to his resume, just 3 years later, he would retire. So that was a real fun day.
Yeah, and I think of Bob, back in some of his earlier years with the powerhouse stables he had. I remember the year he picked up Art's Place as an age performer, went undefeated. He had odds against in Camluck in the barn that year as well. Western Shooter, I think maybe one of the greatest 2-year-old colt pacers I've ever seen. Unfortunately, his life was cut short. We didn't really get to see the full potential on that one. So, yeah, what a career for Bob McIntosh, the double Hall of Famer. And he's got a big chance today in both Battle of the Bells and, of course, the Battle of Waterloo. Once again, a familiar story. One driver that's hoping for a big afternoon and certainly has a fantastic record in this event is Doug McNair. Earlier today, Tony Elliott caught up with him.
Tony Elliott here, joined by driver Doug McNair. Doug, obviously you've had a pretty busy weekend over the last few days. You got an off day yesterday, but you're at the Hambletonian there on Saturday. How was that experience?
Yeah, it's good. I know I've raced there that day. I've never raced in the big race, but I had no luck, but we were there, and it's fun to see you racing it.
Yeah, for sure. And we were certainly cheering you on from back home, and hopefully next year you'll have a little bit better chance coming from the outside there. You drive number 6, Bonita's Best Bet, coming up here in the Battle of the Bells. Obviously, you'll be in a little tough from position number 6, but how do you think you fare with your chances?
Yeah, she's nice. She just got a little bumpy last week in the turns and probably cost her the race. But 6 all, the best ones are along the inside of her. So, her chances they're pretty tough tonight, but anything can happen in a horse race.
For sure. All right, good luck. Thanks.
Doug McNair, 5 wins, the winningest driver in the Battle of Waterloo, looking to add a 6th title to his resume later this afternoon. We'll find out if he can do that, but right now we'll take another commercial break. When we come back, we'll set things up for a good-looking edition of the Preferred Pace here on Industry Day.
Harness Racing Update is the sport's most comprehensive and timely news source. HRU covers the sport from all angles with news, features, photography, opinion, and analysis of racing. Also, HRU covers breeding and sales, as well as industry stories you need to know. It's all delivered by a deep, diverse, and talented team of writers and photographers. And the best news is that it's free to subscribe. Subscribe to HRU today for free at harnessracingupdate.com. and see what everyone is talking about.
For over 25 years, Tara Hill Stud has worked with partners to help produce champion stallions. We are proud to have bred great racehorses like Fade Out, Shower Play, Precious Delight, and There's a Demon in Me. Our stallions, past and present, have had tremendous success while making a huge impact on racing across North America. Mr. Levesque, Mach 3, Cadabra, Muscle Mass, and Precious Bunny, to name a few. Our stallions' progeny have won major events, including the Hambletonian. Tara Hill Stud are currently standing 9 of the industry's top stallions. Alarm Detector, Control the Moment, Danson Lou, Flanagan Memory, Green Manalishi, He's Watching, Muscle Mass, Resolve, and Sports Writer. Our facility is modern, our staff knowledgeable. Consider Terra Hills Stud when choosing a home for your stallion. Terra Hills Stud, where champions stand and champion yearlings are raised. Log on to terrahills.com.
In first, they roll on towards three quarters. Twin B Watching's got the lead. Twin B Watching, Better's Wish now charging on the outside. Twin B Watching and Better's Wish as they race away on that final turn. Bronx Sealter with the lead. Bronx Sealter and Better's Wish. Bronx Sealter leading Better's Wish is racing second, three quarters, 1:24.1. And the field turns for home. Better's Wish trying to put away the favorite Bronx Sealter as they come on down the stretch drive. And right now, the lead is just about a nose fighting back. Bronx Sealster. Center of the track is Better's Wish. Better's Wish and Bronx Sealster. Bronx Sealster turns back. Better's Wish third was Sports Teen. And Fast in first was fourth, 1:53.1.
2018 Bronx Sealster. Boy, I forgot what a gritty win that was, the way he battled back. And he beat a pretty nice Golden Better's Wish.
That's what I was remarking to you there as we were watching that stretch drive. That was Better's Wish. Can you believe Better's Wish got beat in that spot? That was a game effort by Bronx Sealster. Fast and First was even third in there. I think he went on to win a heat of the jug for Blake McIntosh. So it just shows how this race, again, it's a launching pad for many standouts over the years.
Absolutely, and we've got some nice ones in the field coming up here next. A field of 7 in the Preferred 2 pace. And you talk about resumes. Desperate Man's got a substantial win on his. Of course, it wasn't that long ago. He was in the winner's circle at Mohawk Park for the Pepsi North America Cup.
Just 2 years ago now. I guess we're coming up almost on that anniversary, as it was one of those delayed years because of COVID, so the race was a little bit later on. And Desperate Man, what a magical moment that was. And you have to think today, this is his third start now in a row here at Grand River, but you'd have to think for the Chickens, they probably got a ton of supporters that made the short drive to come here to Elora today to cheer on Desperate Man on this afternoon. Trying to make it 3 in a row. Some anxious moments last time. He actually finished second, got vaulted up to become the winner, as the original winner of that race went down into the passing lane when they turned for home, and because that one did not give that lane to another rival, ended up getting disqualified, and Desperate Man got the victory. So gonna try and make it 3 in a row here at Grand River, but it won't be easy because there's a few that you know will be taking a shot.
Yeah, really talented group in here. It looked like Desperate Man, his form had tailed off a little bit for his standard. So the assumption was they wanted to come over here and try and just get him back on track, get his confidence going again, get him back into the win column, and it's worked. He looked very good the first start here, 51-4 wrapped up. Came up against a good one last time, was actually second but promoted to first, but I think it was equally as good an individual effort from him, just beat in 52. So I expect big things from him today.
I do too. I think there'll be a couple that'll take a shot. We'll talk about that in a second. But just to finish off that point about Desperate Man, I think it was Doc Moore that did it with Lawless Shadow about a month ago, kind of gave that blueprint for getting away from the big track, make one start here, get that confidence going, and then that one came back to have a lot of success, winning 48. The same week that the Lawless Shadow won here on the Monday night, came back and won Saturday at Woodbine Mohawk Park in 1:48. So I would not be surprised if after today we see Desperate Man make it back over there to Campbellville, but hoping to make it 3 in a row as we mentioned.
Speaking of a Lawless Shadow, I am not sure. There was talk we might see him at the Gold Cup and Saucer in Charlottetown. That's just a couple of weeks away, so I believe we're going to find out tomorrow who's going to that. So, yeah, it's so busy, right? There's so much going on, and that's another big one that's coming up on the horizon. 100,000 on the line, and it's a fun time of year down in Charlottetown, and the rumor mill starts a few weeks out, and there already are a few down there. B2B's a newcomer there that looked impressive in 51 and change. PL Aussie, a couple of old friends of mine, Jody Sanderson and Darren Smith, are in the ownership of him. They bought him out of the Meadowlands. He made a stop at Rito, I think, last week, a winner in 50 and change there on his way. And, we're hearing maybe a Lawless Shadow. I'm hearing maybe a Covered Bridge from the Gillis stable if he goes.
American History.
Yeah, he would be her. American History, I believe, is already down there.
Former
Raced at
Breeders' Crown winner.
Woodstock, I think. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So, yeah, we'll be tuning into that tomorrow to see who will be there this year for the Gold Cup and Saucer, the $100,000 Classic down in Charlottetown in a couple of weeks. Again, we want to welcome our online viewers. We heard from Brett Kramer. Brett's tuning in from New Jersey today. Great to have him on, and likes the drone shot. And, yeah, we don't blame you, Brett. That's one of our favorites as well. We are able to pull it out from time to time. Ian Trotter tuning in from London. Hello to Ian. Bobby Joe Mason joining us as well from not far away in Angus, Ontario. So there he is, the past Pepsi North America Cup champion, Desperate Man. Typical of the good shadow play offspring. He's a bit of an eye catcher on the track. He makes a great appearance out there. He's 6-5, and I think every bit a 6-5 shot in this field.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think it'll be a tough task for some others in here, but there's one that I think is going to absolutely make Desperate Man earn it, and that's number 2, Ideal Perception. We've seen him just go down the road here in the past at Grand River, including his last start where he won by 6.5 lengths in 152-4. Coming back up towards that preferred level. Hasn't been here since about 4 starts back, but 2 of his last 3 are wins. Both times, take no prisoners, just go all the way. And they turn the lines over to James McDonald today. Anthony Hahn almost always drives Ideal Perception. James McDonald in the bike here this afternoon. So, we'll see how that goes. It could, I imagine James, he knows this horse pretty well. I'd imagine he's just going to roll him, and we'll see what happens.
Armour Sealster, post 1 here, 4-1 on this one for Double J, Jody Jamieson. Jody having a good afternoon here. A couple of wins for him already. And he's a guy that gets pumped up for Industry Day.
Oh, he does. And it's one of those events that for a long time it was the Jamiesons. They were the main storyline in the Battle of Waterloo. Now the McNairs have sort of overtaken that, but Team Jamieson figuring very prominently this season. They have a nice young trotter named Classy Royale that's a gold winner on a couple of occasions. So they're having a good time this season, and you can tell Jody always taking time on these days, usually to make those spins by the rail, conversing and saying hello with a lot of the fans. Just a great ambassador.
Yeah, I saw him and son Jed at the Meadowlands. Seeing more of him out in the winner's circle, so I think it's a safe assumption. We're going to see him a lot down the road in this sport.
Already warming horses up.
There you go.
Yes.
So I am sure an aspiring young driver. Hey, it wasn't that long ago we saw kids like Jody. I remember seeing Scott Zeron in the winner's circle with his dad, Rick, for years doing his Zorro routine with him, right? Now he's a 3-time Hambletonian winner. It's incredible. The starting gate rolling for race number 9. This is going to be a good tilt. It is the Preferred 2 pace. And here's Gary with the call.
Field for the 9th taking up their positions. Armour Sealster, Ideal Perception on the inside. In the center, Desperate Man, Respect Our Flag, and Highland Beach's Best. Into the outside, Bolt Power and Last Beach. It's a field of 7 for the 9th race. Preferred 2 pacers. Here they come, and Armour Sealster went off stride. Ideal Perception, Desperate Man also with a break in stride. Respect Our Flag, Highland Beach's Best, and Last Beach is going to fire on the outside as they work their way into the backstretch, and is right now Ideal Perception with the front. Respect Our Flag is going to get the pocket. Highland Beach's Best is 3rd. Last Beach 4th, and then Bolt Power as they work their way on to the opening quarter. Ideal Perception and James McDonald now trying to rake this one in already and leads at a length and 3/4. Respect Our Flag is second. 26-3 is the opening quarter. Highland Beach's Best is 3rd. Then Last Beach and Bolt Power. Ideal Perception on the lead. Advantages a couple of lengths. Respect Our Flag is racing 2nd. Highland Beach's Best 3rd. Then Last Beach and Bolt Power. Then well back Desperate Man, and further back to Armour Sealster. And that is Ideal Perception on fire past the half in. 55 flat. Ideal Perception, Respect Our Flag is getting a trip as they work their way on into the backstretch, and then on the inside, Highland Beach's Best is 3rd in front of Last Beach, and then Bolt Power is racing 5th. But Ideal Perception continues to chug along gamely on the lead and is in front by about 2.5 lengths. Respect Our Flag, Highland Beach's Best, and Last Beach, and then Bolt Power. 3/4 is up for Ideal Perception, recorded in 1:22 and 4, and they race their way towards the top of the stretch. Ideal Perception, Respect Our Flag. Ideal Perception, the race right now is against the clock. Respect Our Flag is second. Last Beach third. Highland Beach is best is fourth. They come on down the stretch by. Ideal Perception getting a little leg weary. Ideal Perception, Respect Our Flag. Ideal Perception is going to win in 1:53 and 2. Respect Our Flag. Then Last Beach and Bolt Power, 1:53 and 2. Ideal Perception got the ideal trip and knew what to do with it.
With a couple of the key contenders taking themselves out of it right at the beginning, James McDonald seizes the opportunity with Ideal Perception and simply bottoms out the field. Big fractions, only home in 30 and 3, but had enough to hold on.
Yeah, he did, and I was kind of curious to see what kind of mile he might put up once those main rivals, as you mentioned, made those miscues. We'll get to that in a second, but no problem for Ideal Perception. He's a track record holder here with a 1:51 and 1 mile. A couple of seconds off that here today, and didn't really want much more, but nobody was going to go by, and is the winner in this preferred contest. But Greg, I mean, kind of inexplicable to see. First of all, Armor Sealster, I know sometimes he can get a little hot. He makes the break at the rail. Okay, that might happen. But Desperate, man, that one certainly caught me off guard there. You hate to see that. That's really too bad. You know, we missed out on the battle we were hoping to see, and what should have been a real good race ended up pretty much being one for Ideal Perception right at the word go.
For horse players, these are the ones that are complete mystery and kind of have you getting gray hairs, because it's, yeah, you might see one of those two make a miscue on a rare occasion. So to see both of them jumping off today was shocking, to say the least. And there you go. You get a 9-5 shot winning it, but 3 big long shots underneath. So it's going to bolster those exotic payouts here. James McDonald, though, in his familiar place, back into the winner's enclosure here for trainer Anthony Beaton. Another hard hitter. We talked a lot about Arrakis back in race 8 on the trotting side. Ideal Perception is really a same prototype on the pacing side, and this is his 7th win, 23rd lifetime, closing in on 350,000. Just a hard-hitting type that gives you a big effort week in, week out.
Now, one of those horses that you were talking about earlier that made the trip to Charlottetown, won an elimination of the Gold Cup and Saucer last year, and this horse is just one of those that it's fun to watch, usually because you're going to see miles like that here at Grand River, where he's just going to try and go down the road and see how far and fast he can go. That's now 23 career wins, right? Like, he just continues to get results and to earn money for his connections. Just a nice horse to have, I'm sure, and probably a barn favorite, I'd imagine, at the Beaton stable.
I think so, and you could understand why. He's just an honest, seasoned professional racehorse. And looking at him and watching how the horse conducts himself, I've seen him around the paddock many times. Here he is in the winner's circle, and it looks like he could almost just kind of go in there, get the picture taken, and go back by himself. He's a pro all the way around, and those are the kind that really endear themselves to the stable. No question. Anthony Beaton, a trainer that in the last few years has really made his mark at the top level. Just building up slowly but surely, year in and year out. Long-time assistant, I believe, with Casey Coleman for a number of years, and got to work in that operation, and just now making his stamp. And he's annually one of those top 5, top 6 trainers in the province.
He's got a real nice group of horses this season. Redwood Hanover nearly won the Adios, came up just short. That one was a great performance he turned in on that Saturday afternoon a couple of weeks back. Line Drive Hanover, I'm excited to see how his campaign's going to play out. Got cut short last year. He's come back, been phenomenal. He's got a mark of 147, and then he's got some nice 2-year-olds as well. Legendary Hanover, who will be one of the favorites in the Dreammaker final coming up this weekend. So the Beaton barn is certainly hot and having a lot of fun in some prominent roles, but then you got a horse like that who you can throw out week in and week out. He'll get the job done. Well-rounded, I guess it's safe to say, for the Beaton barn.
So maybe a nice tune-up for later in the day for both Beaton and driver James McDonald. Both familiar faces, as we said, especially on this day. One of the new faces, though, today in the Battle of Waterloo is Robbie Robinson, Ottawa-based conditioner that Came to town last week for the eliminations with Mick Wicked Time, finished 4th, punched his ticket into the final. Earlier this week, our cameras caught up with him for more on the improving colt.
My name's Robbie Robinson. I'm down here for the Battle of Waterloo with Mick Wicked Time.
Mick Wicked Time destroying the field in the first. And if you want to know why they call Robbie Robinson the Rocket, this is why. Mick Wicked Time. Mick Wicked Time by at least 10 or 12 shut down in the end. He's under the line in 156.
He was pretty much perfect training down. He never did anything wrong. He's nice around the barn. He's a compact little, I don't want to say little, but he's a compact horse. That's why we paid him into the Battle of Waterloo. We had this penciled in from the start just because of his size and he seemed to be handy training down, and I thought that the half-mile track would be a perfect fit for him. I think he raced well. The cover wasn't taking him maybe where he needed to be. I really hope just getting used to racing on the half, coming from the 5/8 and the 7/8. So it was a good learning experience last night, so hopefully we'll go forward from there. We have a 5 or 6 hour truck, but we try to schedule it maybe come the day before and try to pick around the traffic patterns, hit the 407, stuff like that, and try to travel when it's cooler at night, or so that we're not stressing the horse out too much. We're hoping for a big cheering section there. At the simulcast, there's a lot of people there that know me, and so we're hoping we got a big section.
All right, what a good-looking individual, and wishing the best of luck to them as we give you a quick look at the prices from that 9th race as well, with Ideal Perception winning. In that feature, we heard the voice of John McMillan, of course, Robbie based in Ottawa. John, the longtime race caller, and has held a variety of positions there over the years. Recently, he's had some health issues, recovering from a major surgery, so we want to send best wishes to our good friend and longtime colleague John McMillan, and of course our good friend and colleague Ken Middleton as well. Had a training accident a few weeks ago, and he's recovering from a pretty serious surgery as well. And I know, being down at the Meadowlands this weekend, you didn't go too far where people were coming up and asking you if we've talked to either of them or heard how they're doing. Mm-hmm. So I know best wishes are being sent far and wide.
Yeah, same from here. Again, just like you at the Meadowlands the other day, lots of people asking and checking in. So a couple of well-liked gentlemen who were wishing nothing but the best and hoping for good recoveries and good results.
Alrighty, we turn our attention to our two main events here of the afternoon as we welcome you back to Industry Day 2023, and it's the Battle of the Bells to kick things off for us here in race number 10. $138,000 on the line in this year's edition. An outstanding field here as we give you a look at some of the stakes records to keep an eye on. Mark, do you think any of them in jeopardy this afternoon?
I don't think so. I know we saw some good miles from the 3-year-old pacing fillies, pacing around 153 and 1. I think I'd be a little surprised if we did see that here in the Battle of the Bells, to see them push that stakes record. But hey, you never know. It all depends how the race sets up. We'll get a look at the field in just a second. But I mean, this is a talented group. There's a couple of standouts that have flashed some really good speed earlier in their careers. So it should be a lot of fun, and maybe we will see one of those miles pop up that we'll remember for quite some time.
All right, we are going to have a look back at last week's eliminations, where it was the Louis Philippe show. He won in both splits. The first of them came up in race number 3 on that program. And in that contest, it was a post 3-starter Collusion Hanover taken from off the pace by Waugh, and just bided his time. And despite the fractions not really being on his side, this Daughter of Bettor's Delight responded in a big way, especially in the late going.
It certainly did. You watched as Collusion Hanover comes on by here to get the job done. And you see Waugh, not very animated in the bike. He knew what he had there from this filly as she got her second win in 4 tries. Won a grassroots. They went to the gold. That mile just didn't really work out. I mean, still raced really well, had a big back half, and finished his 7th. Beat less than 3 lengths. So nice fortune to bounce back with a victory.
Totally different approach from him in the second elimination. And I suppose odds of 1 to 5 dictate that. He put pass line right up on the front end, and she did what she was expected to do.
She certainly did, and pass line turned some heads when she made her debut at Woodbine Mohawk Park as she rocketed home in 26-4. And then here she follows up with her 4th win as she's now 4 for 5, wins by 2 1/4 in 155-3. Just a tough spot here though for Louis Waugh after winning both of those eliminations with horses that looked really good. That he had to make a choice, and he has been driving this season for Luke Blais and Determination, so he'll stay there and talk about a live catch drive for James McDonald as he's Johnny on the spot, or James on the spot in this case, as he picks up pass line. These two here, both poised for big efforts today.
Tough decision, good problem to have for Louis-Philippe Waugh, but he sticks with Collusion Hanover. Post 1 probably a big factor there. Peeler has the hopes of his trainer Bob McIntosh, or her trainer I should say, with Bob McClure in the driver's seat, looking for his first win in this event. Excellent field of 9. You get a look there at the field again. 8 on the gate, 1 from the trailing tier. The 10 and the 11 are both also eligibles who will not get to draw in today for the $138,000 plus final. All right, we will take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we will meet the field of 3-year-old filly pacers next.
Is fast and exciting at the picturesque Woodbine and Woodbine Mohawk Park racetracks in Ontario, Canada. Woodbine Standardbred, home of the Pepsi North America Cup, a summer classic.
Pebble Beach in Iran.
And Woodbine Thoroughbred, home of the historic King's Plate.
But the mighty filly has devastated them.
Full fields, exotic wagers, iconic events. Play Woodbine Thoroughbred and Woodbine Standardbred today at your favorite wagering location.
As the industry's leading sales agency, Preferred Equine's new online sales portal, Preferred Equine Online, offers the best online service available. Developed by our experienced sales team, the powerful new platform with cutting-edge technology makes buying and selling easy from the comfort of your home or office over any device. Our experienced sales team offers full customer service for buyers and sellers as it relates to the collection, distribution, and transfer of the horses offered. Sellers can enter a horse as easily as 1, 2, 3 with a searchable database while allowing comments, photos, and other documents. Buyers can view live pedigrees, past performances, and race videos. To view the sales schedule, create your account, or learn more, visit www.preferredequineonline.com or call our sales team at 914-773-7777.
Welcome back to Grand River Raceway, and so far so good on the weather front. Those overcast skies continue to hover, but we're now coming up to the Battle of the Bells, so we're hoping it's going to hold off. It was supposed to be hit or miss, and again, taking that out of the equation, it really is an ideal afternoon. Perfect temperature, no wind at this point in time, so ideal for racing, and we are looking forward to our main events of the afternoon. Battle of the Bells, the filly counterpart to the Battle of Waterloo, which is in race number 11. If there's strength in numbers in this field, it has to belong to Dave Maneri. He's got 3 starters here. He's won this event twice, so he knows the kind of filly it takes to get it done.
He certainly does. Some good past history in this event, and I'll talk about having good connections. It's been the Burke Brigade that sent these horses up, and of course the Ron Burke Barn and their owners, they're going to support All Bets Off, who they race. Their champion stands here in Ontario, and they're trying to support him. So they've got some Ontario-sired youngsters, and Dave Maneri's doing a nice job as those ones get sent up. That's a relationship that goes back several years, but talk about being in a fortunate position. Like you said, strength in numbers. Has got 3 starters in here and in a really good spot, including having your current 1 to 9 choice in Past Line. I expected her to be the favorite, but boy, she took all the money when betting opened up. It was already in on her, and she currently sits on the board 1 to 9.
We welcome everybody watching again today. Hope you are enjoying the coverage so far. And if you're just tuning in again, make sure to leave us a comment, a question, anything at all. We always love hearing from our viewers and being able to interact with them. And it gets you a chance to win the James McDonald autographed So Much More collector card as well. And you know what? Let us know who you like in both the Battle of the Bells and in our Battle of Waterloo main event coming up in race number 11 as well. Speaking of stallions, you mentioned All Bets Off. He's, I think established now as one of the top OSS pacing stallions here in just a couple of seasons from his offspring. Of course, Bettor's Delight, though, we know what he's done, and talk about remarkable. At his age, he is still producing standout performers. In fact, leads the Ontario Sire Stakes on the pacing side again.
It's hard to explain, isn't it? I mean, this longevity, it's only been seen a few times. This is incredible, though. They just continue to have success on the track, do these Bettor's Delights. I got a kick out of a couple weeks ago at Woodbine Mohawk Park, Scott McEnany in the winner's circle. And, they're just asking him, can you believe this all these years later after they had that big win in the Pepsi North America Cup, that here we still are talking about his offspring that continue to have a lot of success, not just in the Sire Stakes, but, of course, at the Grand Circuit level as well.
And that evening, talking about Mirage Hanover, and he said he's the most, I guess, closely comparable to Bettor's Delight that he has seen, and that's remarkable. And lo and behold, he gets beat his next start, which was amazing. Another colt that turned heads, and remember the Alamo. You've got Newsroom south of the border. Boy, I cannot wait to see the top 2-year-old colt pacers in North America clash this year in races perhaps like the Metro and the Breeders' Crown. But let's meet the field for our Battle of the Bells final. Just a moment ago saw Collusion Hanover, the choice of Louis-Philippe Bois, the choice of 2 elimination winners. Luc Blais trains the daughter of Bettor's Delight. Blais also with number 2, Greatest Pleasure. There's Peeler for McIntosh and McClure.
And there now is Pass Line. James McDonald picking up the drive here on this All Bets Off filly. She's 4 for 5. Boy, she's got a lot of speed to burn.
Cheese Party gets Trevor Henry driving for Kyle Bossens. Trevor Henry, past winner in this event as well last year with big plans.
Doug McNair drives the 6 Bonita's Best Bet. Another one coming out of the barn of Dave Maneri, as Doug is looking for his 3rd victory in the Battle of the Bells.
7 is Past a Delight. Anthony Beaton training. We saw him winning in race number 9. And you've got driver Jody Jamieson looking to come back here for the 4th time. He has 3 Battle of the Bells titles to his credit.
There's number 8, How Much? Another one for Team Maneri. Tyler Borth getting a nice opportunity here. We'll see if this one could surprise. You never know. Sometimes you see all the top-notch horses from one barn, and it's the one flying under the radar who does step in. Maybe we'll hear about that from Dave Maneri in a moment.
And Team Cullen with Post 9 starter TH Jackie's Legacy, a London Classic purchase last year for $33,000. She's 2 for 4 this year with a mark of 55-1 taken at Mohawk Park. Good looking field for this year's edition of the Battle of the Bells. Once again, we're going back to the paddock. Tony Elliott with a special guest.
Yeah, I caught up with Dave.
You know that
starters here in the Battle of the Bells, and he was just mentioning that pass line, which is a scary thought for her competitors, is the best she's ever been, the soundest she's ever been, and that's certainly something that, like I said, is scary for her competitors. Who she comes in 4 or 5 lifetime, and she certainly is taking a lot of money in the board, and deservedly so.
Your perspective, you're getting a look at them as they make their way out to the track. Young horses, you're checking out, I'm sure, some of the body language, the demeanor. Anyone really catch your eye in that regard?
I think even going back to pass line, she just warmed up so good, and Dave scored her out pretty hard going in the first turn, and she was as perfect as could get going into there, and then James just turning her score down here again, and she looks very, very good on the track.
All right, Tony, we're going to put you on the spot here. Who's your pick? Are you going to be an outlier and go against pass line?
I think it's very tough to, obviously, and Louis-Philippe Bois has done a great job with her, but obviously opts for the 1. But James McDonald, getting him in the bike just adds that much extra to her her abilities, and I think that's certainly going to get the job done. And I just don't see anybody else in this field really stepping up against her. And if she's anywhere as good as is what the connections think, she'll certainly be dominant, I think.
All right. Well, Mark McKelvey, do you concur with that assessment?
I do. I'm not going to go against pass line here, but there's one filly that I'm going to be watching very closely because I think she could definitely get herself into the mix, and that being the 3 Peeler. Just tracking her progression rate from her baby races. You know, she's got several lines already under her belt. 5 starts to this point, just 1 top 3 finish. But at times, you know, she's kicked home in some good speed. Last week it was a tough journey and ended up finishing 4th, but did get into the final. Draws well here. Bob McClure knows her pretty well. I know he thought pretty highly of her after her first baby race, so sometimes it just takes a little time for those horses to click. And we've talked about Bob McIntosh. There is Peeler. She's got that classic McIntosh horse look. I could see her definitely getting a good chunk of this purse. Does anybody knock down pass line? I doubt it, but I think Peeler is certainly one to give some good consideration to. And off a 4th place finish, looking right now as your 3rd choice. 4th choice, I should say.
And we've seen it over the years, too. So much improvement can happen at this stage for these youngsters. In a week, they can be almost a different horse. And we still really don't know who's who yet. At this point, pass line is a little bit ahead of her rivals. And, if she can just simply maintain her current form, you have to think she'll be the horse to beat. But any improvement on that, and good luck. But, there are some others that are intriguing. The other Luke Blade trainee, Greatest Pleasure, wanted to touch on that one. I mean, what has she done wrong so far in 4 starts?
Exactly that. 2 for 4. Has a 2nd place finish in there as well. She's already stopped the clock in 1:54 and 3 over Hiawatha Horse Park. That's a real strong mile. And J.R. Plant in the sulky today has been in the bike for her last 3 starts. She's well traveled, and here's one that is clearly very versatile and is not afraid of the smaller ovals. Finished 2nd last week, raced well. I mean, pass line was a drawing away winner, but hey, Greatest Pleasure turned in a good trip, and you got the Blaze starters 1-2. They're starting side by side. They both draw inside. I'm not saying they're going to go out there and they're probably going to get away 1-2, but I'm sure wherever one is, the other one's going to be pretty close. They maybe move. There could be some setup here for these two to be in a nice spot. So you have to keep your eyes on both of them. And also for determination, this all being a homebred. We see them spend so much money at the yearling sales. And then, they're still doing their own breeding operation as well. And they get one here into an event like this. That's got to feel pretty good.
And the thing I like about her, from what I've seen so far, is she is a very handy filly. So I think J.R. Plant's going to kind of be able to do whatever he wants to get herself in what he thinks is the best position to try and maximize for the best result here today, especially from a post-2 start. She is a 2-time winner in 4 coming in. Interesting as well. You see the outside horses. You got a lot of aggressive half-mile drivers, guys that are known for how well they can get a horse off the gate and get that early position. Trevor Henry on the 5 Cheese Party, McNair on the 6 Benita's Best Bet, Jody on the 7 Past to Delight, and Tyler Borth with the post-8 starter How Much. So I expect at least 1 or 2 of those to try and fire out for position.
I know it'll be tough for Tyler Borth from post-8 there, but How Much has shown some good early speed. So it might be there. It's tough to do it from the outside, but this one's always been raced up close. So I expect this one to be put in play at some point.
Who do you like in this year's Battle of the Bells? We are going to find out the answer to who our 2023 champion will be in just moments from now. Once again, let's send it upstairs to the voice of Grand River Raceway, Gary Guy.
Hanover. Greatest Pleasure and Peeler on the inside. In the center, pass line, Cheese Party to the outside, Benita's Best Bet and Path to Delight Him. How Much? In the second tier, TH Jackie's Legacy. Field of 9, race number 10. The Battle of the Bells final. Here they come. Field for the 10th race is at the start. Pass line has broken stride. Greatest Pleasure drives out. Benita's Best Bet. Collusion Hanover on the inside. And Peeler is racing 4th as they drive it around the turn. And now TH Jackie's Legacy takes 4th. And Peeler now is stripped out of contention with a break. And then Cheese Party is racing 5th. And Path to Delight is 6th. And How Much is back there in 7th. And Collusion Hanover now is going to come on and grab the lead from Greatest Pleasure. It's Collusion Hanover. It's 7-2 who's got the lead. lead. Greatest Pleasure at 25 to 1 is second. Then Benita's Best Bet, TH Jackie's Legacy, and Cheese Party and Past a Delay, and How Much, and then back to Pass Line. And they work their way past the opening quarter, 27-3. Collusion Hanover, and Louis Bois now getting things all his own way. Leads as they race off the turn. Greatest Pleasure is in the pocket. Benita's Best Bet is racing positioned on the inside and now comes out. Benita's Best Bet is racing first over, and then following on the outside is Cheese Party. TH Jackie's Legacy is scooting up the inside and getting closer. Then it is back to Pass to Delight, and How Much, and then it is back to Pass Line, trailing the field after that. Really break in stride, or rather racing eighth, and they race on towards three quarters. Collusion Hanover. Benita's Best Bet on the outside is up to about a length back. Greatest Pleasure is racing third. Then Cheese Party, and racing fifth is Past a Delight. TH Jackie's Legacy sixth, and Pass Line is seventh. And then How Much, and it is still Collusion Hanover. Cheese Party now rolls off a cover, and Cheese Party is trying to come on and collar Collusion Hanover. And Greatest Pleasure is sitting on the inside, and Past a Delight is passing Phillies as the field turns for them on down the stretch drive. They come and they fan out, and Collusion Hanover, and then Cheese Party, and way out wide flying is Pass Line as they come to the finish. It is close, but it looked like Cheese Party. Pass Line on the outside was closing. Collusion Hanover on the inside. Cheese Party 156-3.
Wow. That's the only word I can come up with at this point in time. That was incredible to watch. Going into the last turn, we both looked and said, boy, Pass Line is making quite a comeback. Maybe she's going to get up there and get a check. And then at one point we were thinking, I think she's going to come all the way back and win. And I think she just missed by an inch.
Just missed. I
What do you
think you're
think?
right. But I can't believe, first of all, that she makes it that close. Second of all, to make it that close when she was so wide out of the turn. You don't see horses that wide coming out of this turn all that often. But, of course, a lot of them were in play and had a chance. The front wasn't going to hold up there. And Cheese Party, it does appear, has won this for Trevor Henry and Kyle Bossens. I mean, all eyes were on Pass Line, though. If it just needed a little longer stretch. I mean, it was so short, especially when you have to swing that wide off the turn. What a comeback, what an effort. I mean, not to take headlines away from the winner, but I mean, the star of the show, the horse we'll be talking about, certainly Pass Line. But who's getting the winner's share of this $138,000 purse? It's Cheese Party with the big-time upset.
All right, look at them coming back, and I'm sure Trevor, was worried about trying to get there, trying to get by the horses on his inside. And when he looked over and saw Pass Line was coming up beside him at the finish, had to be wondering if he was seeing things. Really an incredible recovery from that filly. And had she not made the mistake at the start, you have to think she would undoubtedly have been the champion. But take nothing away from Cheese Party. Filly that was 0 for 4 coming in. But there you go. Trevor Henry, a half-mile specialist for sure. He's one of the top drivers in the country. Knows exactly, how to drive horses based on circumstances. He wasn't going to power drive this filly, able to work out a second over trip. And boy, this filly really responded. That was an eye-catching rally in its own right to come from as far as she did and to go wide in this final turn. As you said, Mark, it's not easy to do.
It's not. I mean, she's probably, she's 3, almost 4 deep. They were kind of really pushing out coming off the turn there. You're going through her lines here, and you see some nice efforts, obviously getting a lot of checks, finishing second now 3 times out of 4 starts coming into today, and making up some ground late, but no eye-catching final quarters really on her resume. But she finished this race up well. She raced outstanding, and it's just, the circumstance of the front end not holding up, and Trevor Henry with just a masterful drive to get into a perfect spot. Like you said, second over, you can't beat that journey. Got brought close enough, and at the head of the lane, we had about 5 or 6 of them that had a shot to win, and Cheese Party is going to get the job done. Her first win of her career. Talk about what a time to break the maiden.
And what an exciting weekend, an exciting time of year. We've talked about it a lot. We were at the Meadowlands Saturday when we saw a post-10 winner in the Hambo Oaks. And then an exciting post-10 upset win in the Hambletonian. Here we are today, another upset win in dramatic fashion, 5 of them across the track. It's why we love this game.
You see the emotion right there in the winner's circle, too. You just love
Exactly.
to see it. That's what it's all about. You know, this isn't the biggest purse of the year that this filly's probably going to have a chance to race for, but this is going to be one significant victory, especially for Kyle Bossens, all his family and friends, not too far away in Arthur's where he's based, and they get a win on a day like today. Pretty special. You can see Kyle out there along with his young one as well, so celebrating it right through the family.
That is amazing. The filly was bred by Brad Gray right here in Ontario, and Kyle owns the filly, does it all, owns and trains, and Trevor Henry doing the driving. And yeah, that is one happy winner's circle there. There's Kyle's young family there joining him as well. There's going to be a celebration, and yeah, there's what it's all about. Doesn't get any better than that. They love their animals, and to see them in the winner's circle in these biggest races, the emotion comes flooding out. This is incredible to watch.
I'm not sure they want to leave this winner's circle. They may want to stay here as long as they can and soak up this moment. That's just fantastic. You love to see it in a race. I guess we could say these two races, we've come to expect the unexpected at times. Anything can happen with young horses. Anything can happen on a half-mile track. And I don't think either you or I, if we played this race in our heads 100 times, could have had this scenario playing out the way it did. Heck of a performance from Cheese Party. Heck of a performance from Passline as well. That's one that it's going to set the bar pretty high for the boys to try and beat when we do get to the next race, the Battle of Waterloo.
Absolutely. Kind of reminds me of at our track Camlock Classic night. The Camlock was a great race this year, but on the undercard, the Forest City Pace. Again, for me, I've watched a lot of races this year. I've yet to see one that is more entertaining from start to finish than the Forest City Pace. If you're tuning in today, if you haven't seen that one, pull it up on YouTube. But I'll tell you what, this was very entertaining. So much drama all the way, from the break at the start. In the middle stages, it looks like it's a foregone conclusion that Collusion Hanover would win. And then from the clouds comes Cheese Party and Passline, almost getting there with a massive recovery.
You said wow right after that race. I'm pretty sure after the Forest City, that's the same word that I used. You love it when a race is able to kind of stop you in your tracks and make you go wow for a second like that. That's what it's all about, especially in these big dances like this.
So this is a daughter of Better Than Cheddar. Another one of those great Ontario sires. Better Than Cheddar. Maybe doesn't get his due, but boy, he's produced a lot of good ones year in, year out. Always a player in stakes events and certainly in races like this as well. So not surprisingly, the racing officials have lit the inquiry sign. They have to take a look back at the start, make sure that Passline observed all of the braking rules here. Really, I don't think there's any question about that. The only slight thing is if there would have been any interference, and if there was, it would have been against the 5 mark, I think, at that point. And with the 5 winning it, it's a moot point. 4 certainly lost plenty of ground, was taken clear of the field. So I believe this will just be a formality, and but you hold all tickets until they do make that result official. What a thrilling edition! One of the most entertaining editions of the Battle of the Bells that we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and try and pick one out that had more drama and more of a thriller at the wire than that one did there. There is the top 4. So Collusion Hanover, tough fit. I thought that race might have just been done when she moved to the lead at the quarter pole. Thought it was over there, especially with Passline nowhere to be found at that point. But, I'm sure Louis was a little disappointed. He had a roller coaster ride of emotions in that race, you'd have to think, especially when he sees Passline make a break. He's thinking, doesn't want to see that from a filly. He's probably going to continue to drive this year, but also, okay, there goes my major threat. I get to the lead, should be lights out, and turning for home, she just didn't have enough left in the tank there to hold on, and Cheese Party ends up getting up to get the job done. Passline second, and Pasta Delight, Jody Jameson got a nice 4th there at 60-1 for trainer Tony Beaton, so they'll be happy with that chunk of change that they were able to get as well, though right in the mix too. They probably only beat half a length or a length.
And what a wrinkle this throws into both the late pick 4 and that late pick 5. 50-1. Check out this superfecta number as well. Even with the heavy favorite second, I think you're looking at a nice return. Let us know, our viewers watching today, did anybody come up with Cheese Party at 50-1? And if so, why didn't you tell us earlier, right?
Would have loved to have known. That would have been real nice. 50-1 upsetter there and going through. I mean, this race started in 2009. I'm just kind of scanning the past winners and nothing necessarily jumping out that would have probably been any higher than that. I mean, a lot of good fillies that were on top of their game earlier in their career that won this race. So a 50-1 stunner. Certainly one that I don't think too many would have had circled on their page there. And they're probably anxiously awaiting, if they did, these payouts and for this inquiry to come down, which, to your point, I don't really see any need for any changes to be made.
And what a party they're going to have tonight in Arthur, Ontario. Of course, all the connections. Trevor Henry from nearby Arthur, Kyle Bossens as well. I don't know if it'll be a cheese party or not, per se. But yeah, they're going to have a fun time and celebrate. That's one remarkable thing, too, about this event. This is one of the most lucrative for 2-year-olds anywhere in Canada this season. And local performers and local connections always seem to do well.
Now looking here, it looks like number 3 Peeler actually came into the 4 pass line, which that may be what the judges are going to come up with here, in which case we're looking at pass line likely being a refund if she was interfered with before the start. So that could obviously really change things, especially talking about those payouts.
Yeah, you're right.
This angle kind of shows it pretty well. I do think you see Bob start to drift over a little bit here towards pass line. And
ooh,
yeah, it looks like there is.
Yeah, that's what they're going to have to determine, obviously.
Or does pass line come down into Peeler there? You know, it's not really going to matter whose fault at this point, other than they have to decide.
The refund. The refund will be the big thing in that, and that will have major ramifications on the potential payouts here. So why don't we take a quick commercial break, and we'll let them continue to sort it out, and we'll have an update for you when we come back.
By now, you know the name COSA-TV, an industry leader producing unique, high-quality digital content promoting harness racing in Ontario. Features, virtual programming, live events, and more. COSA-TV has it covered. Follow our social media channels and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page to view the latest content. And if you're looking to bet your favorite Ontario track, check out hpibet.com. COSA-TV, taking Ontario racing global.
Enjoy the thrill of the race anywhere, anytime with hpibet.com. Join for free and use your smartphone, tablet, or PC to watch and wager when you can't be at the track. Stream live racing from over 450 tracks. Bet with ease from anywhere. It's safe and secure. Get rewards, race alerts, tips, and more. For a limited time, get $100 when you become a member. Plus, 1 month free live race streaming, and your first bet is on us. Go to hpibet.com to join for free today.
And welcome back, as we are still awaiting the official results for this year's Battle of the Bells. Again, they were having a look at the start. Pass line had the miscue. Peeler broke after the start, but when we watched the head-on, it looked like Peeler and pass line were in tight quarters. Not exactly sure. We're getting word that there may be a refund on the number 3 Peeler.
Which that surprises me a bit. There it is up on the board. Again, the pass line who makes the break before, but is that suggesting that pass line interfered with Peeler?
So either that or the only other potential scenario, I think, is that Peeler would have had broken equipment, and not, because then if pass line interferes, then there's going to be a placing.
And I think even if, you know, in that case too, it could have been almost a double refund, right? Like if you're saying in that case, both of them, whether you're not wanting to put blame on one or the other, but, and who say that there is, it's hard to tell. We've only got that head-on look, and we've got a small monitor here, but that said, a little surprising. So maybe it is broken equipment. You know, they don't tell us, I guess, or they might have, and we couldn't hear, but it just adds a little more drama to this.
Sure.
And, like you were saying, wow, wouldn't this have shook up the payouts?
So we're speculating, just like you guys are. Again, we can't necessarily hear when it's announced, so we're going to try and get the crew behind the scenes to update us as best they can. We are hearing that the inquiry results has been completed, and we're now unofficial. So we'll wait and see how this shakes out when we get the prices here in just a moment. So again, more drama, more intrigue. This is going to go down as one of the more memorable editions of the Battle of the Bells.
Yeah, it certainly will. I mean, I wasn't expecting all this to drag out after the race. We were just talking about the performance at Cheese Party and for Pass Line. Again, anything can happen with these youngsters, and especially in a race like this, you can always expect somebody to try and take a shot right off the wings of the gate there, and everyone's kind of got them revved up. So things do happen. In the case of Pass Line, it'll be very curious to see what's next for her. Obviously, there's some Grand Circuit events coming up, so there's one that, after today, they maybe just want to throw that one out the window. I mean, they're happy with that second, but also say that miscue, maybe that's a one-off. But Cheese Party now, if you're the connections here, you've been trying the grassroots, do you maybe think about going to the gold next time out?
Yeah, possibly. A filly on the improve, no question. So an upset win, and I believe Trevor Henry, the winning by in the winner's circle.
Dollars perfected, 1,254.
All right, I'm here in the Winback Farms winner's circle with winning driver, the Battle of the Bells, back-to-back Battle of the Bells now for you, Trevor Henry, and a Cheese Party. It was a party in the winner's circle here just a moment ago. The inquiry maybe took a wind out of the sails, the emotions that were going on here, but hey, listen, it was still quite the victory. Last year, an expected win. This time, not so much.
Yeah, for sure. We were, hoping to get a check more or less, but we were at the start, the favorite run, and another one run in the first turn, and kind of just set up for her. She's a very aggressive filly to drive, and I was lucky enough to get cover from Dougie, and I didn't want to move her as early as I did, but I was afraid I was going to choke her, so I moved her, and she responded.
And last year's Battle of the Bells wasn't without kind of drama either, because Big Plans was kind of in a tough spot, and you said this one's not the easiest one to drive, so you weren't so sure how it was going to work out in the final turn.
Yeah, I didn't know whether she'd get there. I was thinking, the worst case scenario, we were going to be third, and when I headed Dougie, and I was worried about James on the far outside, but she got the job done.
All right, and you got Manhawk now coming up in the Battle of Waterloo, and you'd say, well, you're kind of playing with house money now, but hey, if this one can win, why not?
Anything can happen. That's why they put race on top of the program.
All right, there you go. That's why they race the race, right? Kyle Boston's now, let's bring him in. Not just the trainer of Cheese Party. We had all kinds of emotions in the winner's circle. Why? Because you also own this one as well. And let's just talk about the emotion, right? Industry Day, Battle of the Bells, biggest one of the career?
Yeah, this definitely be the biggest one so far. And yeah, all the family was here. Trevor's my neighbor, so couldn't work out any better.
Couldn't happen any better, right? You're done for the day now. Not party time tonight, though?
Yeah, we got lots to do tomorrow, so probably won't stay up too late tonight.
All right, and we talked about this horse briefly, and you said how still a maiden coming into this. What a way to get that maiden-breaking score, but she's been knocking at the door before this effort.
Yeah, she's a real nice filly. She's just got a little bit to learn yet. She's real aggressive, but she's got a real good brush for a piece, so it's just a matter of containing her till the last quarter is the biggest thing with her.
And I guess really today it couldn't have worked out any better. I mean, obviously, you don't want to see yours lose to defeat by making a break in stride, but you end up in the perfect spot, really. And then just when she had to do what she had to do in the stretch, she got the job done for you.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely didn't expect to win. Was hoping for a piece of it, going for that kind of money. And when I seen the favorite run, I thought, you know what, anything can happen. And I said that before the race. I said these are 2-year-olds. Anything can happen in these races, so you never know.
All right, well, there you have it. Kyle Boston's winning trainer of Cheese Party in the 2023 Battle of Bells.
Nice win for Kyle Boston's young trainer, just really kind of embarking on his career, and this is the kind that can really kick-start things for you, no question. So, Mark, I understand we're official. Prices are up. We're having just a bit of an issue, so we're going to try and get those prices for you. In the meantime, let's take a quick commercial break. When we come back, it's time to start looking at our main event of the afternoon, the Battle of Waterloo.
Harness Racing Update is the sport's most comprehensive and timely news source. HRU covers the sport from all angles with news, features, photography, opinion, and analysis of racing. Also, HRU covers breeding and sales, as well as industry stories you need to know. It's all delivered by a deep, diverse, and talented team of writers and photographers. And the best news is that it's free to subscribe. Subscribe to HRU today for free at harnessracingupdate.com and see what everyone is talking about.
For over 25 years, Tara Hill Stud has worked with partners to help produce champion stallions. We are proud to have bred great racehorses like Fade Out, Shower Play, Precious Delight, and There's a Demon in Me. Our stallions, past and present, have had tremendous success while making a huge impact on racing across North America. Mr. Levesque, Mach 3, Cadabra, Muscle Mass, and Precious Bunny, to name a few. Our stallions' progeny have won major events, including the Hambletonian. Tara Hill Stud are currently standing 9 of the industry's top stallions. Alarm Detector, Control the Moment, Danson Lou, Flanagan Memory, Green Manalishi, He's Watching, Muscle Mass, Resolve, and Sports Writer. Our facility is modern, our staff knowledgeable. Consider Tara Hill Stud when choosing a home for your stallion. Tara Hill Stud, where champions stand and champion yearlings are raised. Log on to tarahills.com.
Welcome back to Elora, Ontario. Mother Nature cooperating so far, the rain holding off. Bit of fireworks in the Battle of the Bells. 100-320 on the nose for Cheese Party. And Trevor Henry putting a big smile on not only the faces of her connections, but anyone that supported her at the Mutual windows today. Pass line remains as your second place finisher. What a remarkable recovery for the favorite who had the miscue at the start. Collusion Hanover holds third, and Pasta Delight, another long shot, rounding out the superfecta. So that puts the Battle of the Bells to bed here this afternoon. Time to tee up the Battle of Waterloo. $205,200 up for grabs today. We're going to take you back to the eliminations, which were contested a week ago, and it was trainer Bob McIntosh with a sweep of both eliminations. The first coming with Always a Thrill, a son of Better's Delight, who driver Bob McClure engineered a perfect pocket trip with, and the colt knew what to do with it.
Certainly did here. Wasn't the most taxing fractions. Getting them to 3/4 in 1:29 and 3 was stopwatch, and then the sprint was on, and reaching up was Always a Thrill for the maiden breaking score. Now 1 for 3, paced home in 27 and 2. I mean, that was a strong final quarter there to get the W and to punch his ticket through to the final and secure a good post. The winners drew for 1 through 5 and ends up landing though right in the center. Probably would have liked the 1, but gets the 5.
Elimination 2, it was the other McIntosh-trained pupil, Do Better, heavily favorite and looking to make it 4 consecutive wins to start off his career. He had a little bit of traffic trouble in the early stages, but once he made the lead, there were no doubts.
And it was that 30-1 third quarter that really sealed the deal here, as once again another one that just gets to kick it up another notch and sprints home nicely, looking good on the lead, just under a hand drive from Sylvain Filion to take that elimination there, and is now a perfect 4 for 4. And I just love the progression here for Do Better, from competing in just one of those overnights the first time out, going to the grassroots, to the gold, and now the Battle of Waterloo elimination. We'll see if that perfect record can stay intact.
Both colts looked so good and so in hand in winning. So Bob McIntosh appears to be holding all the cards today as he looks for a second Battle of Waterloo title. Of course, he won the event back in 2014 with Go Daddy Go, and he teamed up that day with driver John Campbell. But others are going to have something to say about this. Jody Jamieson drives one, Max Patrick in here. Doug McNair will be leaving out behind him from post 9 with Enforcer, 2 of the winningest drivers in the history of the event, from 2 of the families that have really over the years been kind of back and forth in the history of this event. Carl and Jody Jamieson, so much success over the years, but in recent years it's been Greg and Doug who have kind of taken over, but when you look at their overall totals, very comparable.
Look at that. combined wins, 10 for the Jamesons, 10 for the McNairs, and maybe somebody will be able to edge ahead here today. They've got their opportunities in this contest. Of course, Jody driving, his father not training this year in this race, but hey, then you got Doug and Greg, and they have, like it seems every single year, just so many elite horses in the Ontario Sire Stakes. So dominating this race. Maybe one day it gets renamed. If it ever does, it'll be up for grabs which family gets the name of this race, because both have had so much success.
Harness Racing's version of the Hatfields versus the McCoys, if you will. Jamesons versus McNairs. A friendly rivalry, but this is a race that both of those families have done so well in over the years, and it's one that is always circled on their calendar, no question, and that they point toward locally here every year. So going to be a lot of fun to watch, and we want to know, maybe from our viewers, do you think one of them edges ahead in that friendly rivalry here today, or is it someone else that kind of foils the party for them? Can anyone beat the McIntosh trained entry in this spot? I'll put that to you, Mark. Do you see it being one of them that's going to win this afternoon?
Well, after what we just saw in the Battle of the Bells, it's hard to just come right back and say that the favorite, looks like a sure thing. There is no such thing as a sure thing in horse racing, but I do like Do Better, and I was talking about that progression and how they've come along with this guy, a gelded son of Better's Delight. Debuted in the baby races back on June 16th, comes back a week later, couple weeks off before making the career debut. Now racing regularly. He's gone 4 weeks in a row. This will now be 5, but he looks stronger with each passing start, so it doesn't concern me at all that he's already going to be making his 5th career start, which will be the second most in this group. And only horse with more appearances under his belt is McWicked Time for Robbie Robinson, that being the number 4. So I really like the chances here of Do Better. You talked about the traffic trouble early on, overcomes that. I mean, this is a horse that's got some good gate speed, probably going to use it as you'd expect, going to get out to the lead, or at least be looking to quarter pole, and probably will get to dictate the terms. And if you're everyone else, you're just hoping that front end collapses once again.
Always a thrill getting a look there at him with Bob McIntosh in the driver's seat. I like the way this guy's progressing as well. Obviously, the undefeated record with Do Better jumps out at you. The 51-3 mark. And the way he won so impressively last time. Nothing not to like about him, and he looks again to be a bit ahead at this stage. But they can progress so quickly, and always a thrill. It just looks so good in winning. I think it's the perfect elimination race. Didn't have to go that fast, just had to sprint the final quarter, and sprint he did, 27-2. And he's got the typical, the look, the McIntosh look, we call it. We've seen so many of his good ones over the years, the way they carry themselves with the low head and the beautiful stride, and he's got that. And I just think there's a lot more in the tank with him, too. Is there enough to beat a stablemate? We'll find out.
Yeah, we will find out, but you're right. You love seeing that progression. You love that when he had to sprint, he still went by that rival. I mean, he could have sprinted home, got beat half a length, still has that same final quarter that he turned in at 27-2, but it's the fact that he confidently went by the rival, and once you get that taste of winning, sometimes they can just continue to get that heading in the right direction.
The combination of Dave Maneri and James McDonald will send out the 2 Chalk Hanover. Had a look at them. Both Maneri and McDonald have won this race in the past as well. A gentleman with several battle wins under his belt, Jody Jameson, and he'll be on board Max Patrick here. One of the long shots in the field, just squeaked in last week after the miscue, but if you're able to look past that, if he minds his manners today, definitely long shot potential.
There's the 2 Chalk Hanover. James McDonald scooping up this drive, a $20,000 yearling, looking for his first career win.
Do Better, looking to remain undefeated in career start. Number 5 was so good, winning his elimination in 156.
The Ottawa area will be cheering on the Robbie Robinson trainee McWicked Time. Travis Cullen does the driving as he'll pick this one up here for this afternoon's contest.
The other part of the Bob McIntosh trained duo, always a thrill. He is also a son of Better's Delight. Bob McClure in the driver's seat.
The 6 stopwatch, 1 of 2 for Greg McNair, has been improving with each passing week. Louis Waugh drives him for the first time here today.
Trevor Henry on board, number 7 Manhawk, a $22,000 Harrisburg yearling purchase. Henry winning in race 10 in the Battle of the Bells. He won the 2018 edition of this race with Bronx Sealster.
It's a tough post for Crush, Kill, Destroy from post 8. Para Engblom sends this one in from New Jersey, but here's one that I've got circled as a potential upset. We'll talk more about that in a bit. Tyler Borth does drive.
And number 9 Enforcer, $35,000 London Classic yearling sale by with Doug McNair looking for his 6th win, as is his dad, Greg, who does the training. Enforcer, a son of Big Jim, will leave from the trailing tier. So that is your field for this year's Battle of Waterloo. Again, $205,200 on the line, presented by Winback Farm. And we're going to throw back over to Tony Elliott in our paddock location for his thoughts.
Yeah, it's certainly shaping up to be a great contest here. And just at first looks coming out for post parade, like Mark mentioned, Crush, Kill, Destroy. He's a little bit on the smaller side of better than Cheddar, but he certainly has the looks of his dad, and he certainly looked good coming out of the paddock. But one that really stood out for me is Always a Thrill. Obviously, elimination winner from last week, Bob McLaren, the bike. Do Better certainly looks the better of the two, but I think Always a Thrill is certainly going to give it a shot. And with the kind of the lack of inside speed inside of Do Better, I think Do Better will get to the lead, and Always a Thrill will be coming late. But like we've seen in the last race, anything can happen.
And Tony, I don't know if you had Cheese Party back in race number 10. If you did, you didn't let us know. Have you got anything up your sleeve here for the Battle of Waterloo?
No, I didn't say that one on air, but I was sprinting to the windows. If it wasn't a pretty sight, but I was trying to get there. But I didn't have that one, but I wish I did. But in here, I don't. Just like the last race, it doesn't look like it'll be too far off form, but it certainly could. And I think there's going to be a lot of kind of people trying to work out trips with Do Better drawing inside of kind of the other threats. But I don't think there will be any bombs in here. But like I said, the last race, I thought it was a kind of a done deal, but that certainly wasn't the case.
Well, thank you, Tony. Great job helping us out here this afternoon. And they're getting a look now at Do Better. I'm not sure if he can do much better than what we have seen from him. He is a deserving favorite at 3-5. Of course, his stablemate, Always a Thrill, looked good in the elimination. He's getting some support at 7-1. Enforcer, solid second choice there at 4-1. He looks good on the track. Let's go outside of them. Maybe just a quick thought on this one we see on screen. Unfortunately, the miscue last time took him out of win contention. He made a nice recovery, and the post god's not good to him today, but he showed a lot of talent there. And if he minds his manners, even with that post, you have to think he's got a shot to get into the mix somewhere.
He does, and I've got him circled as a potential upsetter in here right now. He's going to need a lot of help. He's going to need things to really be going pretty hot up front and to try and pick up the pieces, but kicked home in 27-2. I go back to his first appearance in a gold. He was really in some tough traffic coming to the wire between rivals. Looked like he even almost went off stride for a second coming to the wire, but this is a horse who's had his fair share of adversity through his trips, now in 3 starts. That said, maybe it's got to finally turn. Maybe he's going to finally get some of that luck. And Per Engblom went to Tyler Borth. As we've been talking about over the year, he's really started to make a name for himself on the Woodbine circuit, driving there every single night. Per Engblom trains a lot of Grand Circuit horses. Gave him an opportunity to drive. He stuck with them right through. I just think maybe they can all get rewarded here in this spot, or at some point this year. I think Crush, Kill, Destroy will get one of those good victories. He always finishes up with a ton of pace, kicking home regularly in 27, 26-4. So I like him in here as a potential, use on underneath. I don't think Do Better's getting beat. He is my pick, but I think Crush, Kill, Destroy could certainly be in there.
There's a look at Jody Jamieson with Max Patrick undergoing just a minor equipment adjustment. And speaking of him, he's the pick of Darren McCall, friend of ours watching in today from Australia. Of course, Darren, for a number of years, operating a stable here in Ontario, back in his native home, and tuning in today. Great to have you on board, Darren, and thanks for letting us know. I have no idea. Darren can maybe chime in and let us know.
Early morning, I think,
but I'm not sure. But anyway, very, very good of him to jump on board and tune in. And he's behind Jody Jamieson. Loves the winning tradition that Jody has in this race. I'm gonna go price shopping here. I really like this guy that we see on screen. Always a Thrill. I wouldn't be shocked to see either of the McIntosh pupils win. I think he's got 2 real good top 2-year-old colts on his hand here. In the Sons of Better's Delight, but I'm going to go inside to both of them. Another Better's Delight colt named Chalk Hanover. The Maneri McDonald angle intrigues me. Both have a very good history in the marquee events here at this track. McDonald, of course, won in 2021 with Better Have My Money. I thought this guy was sneaky good in that elimination. He was coming from well off the pace, made good gains in the back half, chasing Do Better, has a chance to maybe get a tactical advantage on them today. I think we'll need to change up his approach just slightly from post 2 from what was employed last time out. And we'll have to, frankly, we'll have to improve a little bit. But as we said, they're at the stage of their careers where they are improving every start. And you've got good connections here, good pedigree, good post, a lot to like about this guy, including the 11-to-1 price. Any final thoughts here, Mark, before we line up?
Yeah, one more horse I think we do need to touch upon is the 9 Enforcer, who is another horse that's come along slowly here for Team McNair, been racing in the grassroots, second in his elimination to Do Better. The second tier, I know Doug wants to get this one in play, so where's he following? Who's he going to follow out of there? Very intrigued to see how Doug's able to navigate this mile with Enforcer, who should figure in prominently.
And apparently it's, I think, 6:30. In
Perfect.
Australia, so we
Cup of
appreciate
coffee
folks
and,
getting up early.
the Battle of Waterloo.
Tuning in, a shot from high above as the field of 9 lines up for this year's Battle of Waterloo. Here's Gary with the call.
And to the outside, Stopwatch, Manhawk, and Crush, Kill, Destroy, and the second tier Enforcer. It's a field of 9, the Battle of Waterloo final, presented by Winback Farm. Here they come. And the field for the 11th race is at the start of the rough. Chalk Hanover, Max Patrick, and Stopwatch is going to bolt out. Do Better is racing fourth, and then Always a Thrill. Then it is Enforcer as they work around the turn. Make Wicked Time. Then it is back to Crush, Kill, Destroy. And Manhawk is trailing the field, but Max Patrick has got the lead. Max Patrick, Chalk Hanover is racing second. Stopwatch still works on the outside and is positioned third as they race on to the opening quarter. Now Always a Thrill will take over third. Chalk Hanover went off stride, and now Do Better is doing one spot better and is racing for 27 seconds the opening quarter. Then back there racing fifth is Enforcer, and then it is back further to make Wicked Time and Crush, Kill, Destroy, and Manhawk and Chalk Hanover is back trailing the field. Max Patrick at 50-1 has the lead, and Stopwatch is racing second, but now up and driving on the outside, coming first over is Always a Thrill, and Do Better is moving up on the back of Always a Thrill and is situated second over. Then a gap of 3. Enforcer half was 56-4 as they work their way on into the backstretch. It is still long shot Max Patrick at 50-1. Always a Thrill is second. Do Better's getting a little closer, and Stopwatch on the inside's about 2.5 off the lead. Now Always a Thrill has the lead, but Do Better now is about to take over second. It is Always a Thrill at 10-1. Do Better racing at 1-9 is second and is getting closer with every step. 3/4 is 125-3, and Do Better is right alongside Always a Thrill, and Do Better now sticks ahead in front, leads by half a length. Always a Thrill is second, Enforcer is third, then it is Stopwatch and McWicked Time, and it is Do Better trying to put away Always a Thrill, who's still fighting. It is Do Better as they come on down the stretch drive. Do Better did plenty fine. Do Better wins it and takes it by 2. Always a Thrill was second, then third was Enforcer, and fourth is between McWicked Time and Crush, Kill, Destroy. 154-3. Do Better.
$154-3 as Do Better benefits from a textbook drive from driver Sylvain Filion. Had him in perfect position throughout, and he will win handily at the end in 154-3, upending his stablemate Always a Thrill. Now perfect in 5 and another budding star of the Ontario breeding program.
You love to see it. You like to see those horses that quickly are making a name for themselves. And as we head towards what will be some big Grand Circuit events over the next several weeks, you have to think Do Better is going to continue to march along towards some of those major events. Sylvain Filion, just
He's
a little
got the
tip.
sword up there at the wire.
The sword up, a little tip of the cap here as Do Better race fantastic. Now 5 for 5, as you mentioned, and wins the Battle of Waterloo. And for Sylvain, I mean, quick look here. Is that his first title here in this race?
That is his first win. I think that's why he's excited. He's been here many times and hasn't been able to win it. So, some emotion coming through there. Usually pretty reserved, Sylvan, and that's awesome to see. He's excited to win here. I think he's excited that he's getting the regular drive behind a colt like this who appears to have such a bright future. And we talked about it earlier. When you're looking at different jurisdictions and now they're just starting to kind of come out of the woodwork. Boy, we've got some special-looking rookie colt pacers throughout North America this year. This guy's right in the mix.
Yeah, he certainly is. And, some years here, you go back and look at some of the past champs of the Battle of Waterloo, and some, for that, was their biggest win of their career. They didn't necessarily go on to win any more big ones after that, but there have been some special horses come out of this race, and Do Better's already got that look, like we said, sitting with that perfect record already.
And I love that slow-mo camera shot from inside here. You can get a real good appreciation for these athletes, and what a beautiful stride this colt has, the reach. His stablemate, the same. Let's talk about Enforcer. The top three were kind of in a league of their own today, and Enforcer was right there with the top two. And Team McNair, they didn't win it this year, but they've got another good one on their hands as well.
Yeah, they definitely do. And as I mentioned, they didn't necessarily come out of the gates blazing with this guy here, as they just opted, put him in that overnight, go into a grass route. But you're seeing that more and more. I mean, the horses that turn out for that first gold of the season, we're getting 2 divisions, sometimes 2 small fields. But then after the first grassroots, you get that shuffle. You get horses that are ready to move up. Nobody wants to necessarily get thrown to the wolves right away. And Enforcer would have been interesting if he'd been up on the gate, or even had he drawn inside and been right in the mix with these guys. I mean, Doug did as well as he could there from the second tier. Horse race fantastic, finishing third. But the McIntosh duo, they were just too much.
McWicked Time finishing fourth gets himself a nice check, and that's good news for Robbie Robinson, the trainer, and Jack Lindonell of Metcalfe, Ontario, the horse that had chipped in from Ottawa. And we'd heard from Robbie earlier today in the feature, and I think he'd have to be very happy with that end result. And he's got an improving son of McWicked on his hands.
Yeah, he does, right? He came in with just $5,000 earned in 5 starts, so he's going to get a nice little chunk of change for finishing in fourth. And then same thing, you just have to ask yourself, if you're the Connections, where do we spot ourselves? Is he probably sticking in the grassroots? That's where I expect he will be going forward, but I think he could continue to improve and figure prominently in that, as there's still 3 legs to go.
So we've talked about Better's Delight as well. The incomparable Better's Delight still going strong, and finishes 1-2 here in the 2023 Battle of Waterloo. It's incredible that we're still saying that. This guy, Do Better, he's an impressive-looking animal. You can see it on screen. And I think we're looking at one that'll make some noise beyond these types of races, Mark. I think he will be one you'll hear from on the Grand Circuit.
I do, too. Now, I heard Gary Guy, the track announcer, mention there's an inquiry in this race. I'm not sure who it does involve, so maybe the crew will be able to let us know if they're able to catch word of that. But, they haven't necessarily walked into the winner's circle just yet with this guy, so I do wonder if there is maybe a little bit of a hiccup, or just the judges checking out what I would imagine was the racing going to the opening quarter, and Chalk Hanover, who had to go down in the safety lane.
There was that. I did notice coming to the start, again, a couple of horses were in tight quarters. I didn't think it involved Do Better. I didn't think it involved the winner at that point, but
I think they're good now.
Who knows? It looks like they're bringing them back in here, so that's good to see. But yeah, this guy's an eye catcher, isn't he? When you see him up close, we're in close proximity here from our location. He's just a perfect sized horse, and he's got an incredible stride on him. Again, we could see that on the slow-mo shot. When he is in full flight, he is reaching for racetrack, which makes me think. I'm not even sure if the half mile is best suited for him. What I'm getting at is I think he could even step up on a bigger track later in the year.
Yeah, I do agree with you right there. I'm excited to see what he'll be like against those Grand Circuit foes. This one is official now, so Do Better is your champion of the 2023 Battle of Waterloo, and a nice crowd on hand to celebrate this victory. And for Bob McIntosh, there's another one just to add to that resume that we were already going on about a little bit earlier.
Exactly. So, no stranger to having this type of superstar or budding superstar in his barn. There's Pat Woods from Winback Farm to present the trophy. They are the presenting sponsor of the Battle of Waterloo here. And the colt, he was a little fired up there, a little rambunctious, and that's understandable after just coming off the racetrack. But he settled down pretty nicely here, and the crew handling him, doing a wonderful job here. And it's a lot to take in for a youngster, not used to being in amongst this type of atmosphere with so many people around and cameras going and whatnot. And he's handling it pretty well so far.
I would say so. Doing a pretty nice job, isn't he? So he gets a nice chunk of change, 100,000 plus going on to the earnings, 175 plus now earned already in his 2-year-old campaign. So they're having a real good go, and there's a lot of money on the table, like you're saying. I mean, I agree with you, Greg. Not going to be shocked to see him step in against those Grand Circuit foes and really hold his own. And don't forget, there's still the Super Final to come up later in the year.
All right, here are the prices. Do better, $2.20, one of the lowest priced winners in the history of the Battle of Waterloo. Stablemate, Always a Thrill second, Enforcer, McWicked Time, and Crush, Kill, Destroy. Rounding out your top 5 in that super high 5 with a return of just over $163. I'm not sure if we're going to get the pick 5 payouts on our screen or not. And there they are. Look at that.
Closer.
We're getting closer. There's a lot of exotic wagers to go through. The double was $312.40. Amazing, onto a $2.20 horse, and there it is, 20-cent pick 5, almost $3,700. Very nice return. You somehow had to come up with that 50-to-1 shot in race 10, but if you did that, you got paid today. Well done, and congratulations to anybody who was able to come up with that. Congratulations to all of our finalists this year in the Battle of Waterloo. It's great to just be in it, and of course to win it is exceptional. Here's Robert Reed Jr. with the Winning Connections.
All right, I'm here in the Winback Farm Winter Circle with winning driver of the Battle of Waterloo, Sylvain Filion. And, we talk about it being a family affair. Before we get to the actual race, family affair, you got your daughter here, Stella Rose, and Randy actually said to me that this race meant the world to you today to get the job done.
Absolutely. I've been in this race so many times and not even been able to reach the winner's circle, so it's very satisfying.
And you're coming into it, obviously, with the big favorite, but we saw what can happen sometimes in the Battle of the Bells, right? Pass line, makes a break in stride as a heavy favorite in there. Do better, though, certainly did everything right today.
Yes, absolutely. He's a very, very nice horse. The other Bob McIntosh's horse was pretty good, too. So they're both nice horses, and we're just happy to be here.
And just a real handy horse too, right? I mean, no need to kind of get to the early lead. I mean, he seems like he kind of does what you want him to do out there.
Absolutely. I didn't want to get caught up in the speed duel, and when I saw Bobby on the outside, I thought that it could be a real good cover for me, which actually worked out pretty good.
Yeah, and I mean, it seems like he could go around again. I mean, he seemed pretty excited in the winner's circle.
Yeah, he's a kind of hyper horse and high strung, and hopefully he'll have some more for next week.
All right, you got your Battle of Waterloo victory, Sylvain. Congratulations. Let's talk to Marv Chandler now, part owner of Mardon Stable, right? And
Sole owner.
Sole owner of Mardon Stable. There we go. Listen, I'm always up for a correction, all right? Listen, talk a little bit about the relationship with Bob McIntosh.
Bob and I have had a great relationship for many, many years. We won the Battle of the Bells last year with a filly that didn't race quite as good today. But Bob and I have had a lot of fun. We've made a lot of money, and he's a good guy. I'm just so sorry today he's not here. Bob, as you know, being a trainer, Hall of Fame trainer, having been on the track a few times, broken pelvis, he's hurting. He's got a bad back. He unfortunately fell again last week. He was coming to our house last night with Al, his cousin Al McIntosh, who owns a piece of Do Better, And he said, I just can't sit in a car for that long. But I'm sorry he's not here, but he's a great guy and a great trainer.
Oh, absolutely, right? I mean, this is his second Battle of Waterloo victory right now, and I guess even more special, given what you told me, more special.
Yes, yeah, very much so. As I said, Al was here, but I'm sorry Bob couldn't be, but finishing first and second is not too hard to take.
Yeah, and first and second, but do better. I mean, has done everything right so far in his career. What's it like to have one like that? Is there any kind of nerves before the race?
Well, I talk to Bob quite often, and I can tell you very, very honestly that training down this winter, the best horse by far was always a thrill. Do Better was the second over. But when they came out and qualified, Savan qualified, he won both his qualifiers, and he's never been beaten. I hate to say that, but he's never been beaten since. Yeah.
There you go. Well, I think he's established himself as the better one now, and we're going to hope that Do Better keeps on doing good things in this Ontario program. Okay. Congratulations again.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, great stuff, and congratulations again to Marv, the Mardon stable, the entire ownership group, and Bob McIntosh. And we should send our best wishes to Bob as well, recuperating. So a lot of folks that have had some tough times health-wise, and we wish him all the best too, and hope that he can get here in person next year, because he'll likely be back here again. All right, we will take our final commercial break and be back to wrap things up from Grand River Raceway in a moment.
Enjoy the thrill of the race anywhere, anytime with HPIBet.com. Join for free and use your smartphone, tablet, or PC to watch and wager when you can't be at the track. Stream live racing from over 450 tracks. Bet with ease from anywhere. It's safe and secure. Get rewards, race alerts, tips, and more. For a limited time, get $100 when you become a member. Plus, 1 month free live race streaming, and your first bet is on us. Go to HPIBet.com to join for free today.
By now, you know the name COSA-TV, an industry leader producing unique, high-quality digital content promoting harness racing in Ontario. Features, virtual programming, live events, and more. COSA-TV has it covered. Follow our social media channels and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page to view the latest content. And if you're looking to bet your favorite Ontario track, check out HPIBet.com. COSA-TV, taking Ontario racing global.
And welcome back one more time as we wrap things up here from beautiful Grand River Raceway. What an afternoon it has been. Very entertaining, Mark. We're happy that the weather cooperated. We needed that, and some outstanding performances again this year.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe the most outstanding performance from a horse that didn't even win. I mean,
Right.
Pass Lines Recovery would have been a performance for the ages if she was able to reach up, but wasn't the case. So congrats to Cheese Party and her connections. Can't take that victory away from you, and Do Better. We got a budding superstar in our hands.
And a lot of fun to be back working with
Yes,
you
it was great.
today. Enjoyed it. And Tony Elliott, great job from him as well. And we hope you enjoyed it. And we hope you can join us again next time. Plenty of coverage coming up. We're just getting into the heart of our season here on COSA-TV. We're going to be back on August 20th with the Earl Rowe Trot this year from Georgian Downs. Later in the month, we'll be heading up to Hanover Raceway for this year's edition of the Balanced Image. And then it's a September to remember at Mohawk Park. September 23rd, the Mohawk Million, Prospect Finals, Grassroots Finals later in the month, and then in October, the Super Finals will wrap things up at season's end with our annual Christmas Driver Challenge. A fun lineup ahead, and we hope to see you again here on COSA-TV. Until then, so long from Grand River Raceway on Industry Day.